Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
3-1 to Walkman. This one's hit well. Center field. Tracking back is Smith. It's over his head, and it is gone. It's a home run.
Oh, boy.
Launched to left. Drilled by Stewart into the Marlins pen. A two-run shot in his hometown to make it a two-run game. Devers, it's a high drive. Center field. Out of here.
Lafreniere. Now Lafreniere moving in on Lukanen. He scores. Second of the night for Lafreniere. We are tied at 2. Ryan Leonard's out of the box, and with speed, he's behind the defense. Front foot score! Snapshot beauty.
That one has to feel extra nice. Breaks the ice.
Assar with a swipe. Assar lobs to Cade. Dynamite dunk by Cade. Powerful throwdown.
Suggs backs it out. He's got the youngster, BLUEJAY, defending. He'll shoot over the top for 3. He drills it.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Trying to process. Gonna ask for a lot of help.
Need a quick blinker?
Yeah, I'm easy. I'm vanilla. We can get to that in a little bit.
All day. Always vanilla.
I think there's something to that.
I think so.
I really do. But what I picked, I was fascinated by
I don't know if I'd have gone ice cream.
but I get it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, how many people do you know that hem-haw around that can't make them a decision?
It's the only – listen, man. There's a very popular ice cream spot that has gotten, like, national attention here locally, right?
Okay.
And it is – listen, it's good ice cream. But there is a lot of times lines going out the door for this ice cream place. And you know why?
Because people can't decide what they want.
Because people are just staring like, ooh, ah.
I told you about that pet peeve at like fast food and drive-through lines.
Make a decision, man.
Like the menu probably hasn't changed.
No, also, everything's available online, man. You could just look it up before you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am. Like decision making, and here I am, and it's going to come back to bite me because we took Zoe and I took my mom to the doctor yesterday, and we're just shooting the breeze. I mean, Zoe talks a ton, and my mom. I was like, I'm be gone tomorrow. I'm gonna be in Ames with Micah. My mom is a very strong advocate for Micah's personality.
Okay.
I mean, since he was little, it was, let my Micah be Micah, her Micah, whatever, right? She knows he just rocks different. And she used to get mad at me when I'd say he's just different. So she's like, no, is this starting again already? No, he's too young for recruiting. And, this, that, and the other, and the third. And, Zoe's just laughing, and she's like, well, it doesn't matter. He's going to do what he wants to do anyway. It's like she's got him down to a science. And I was just thinking to myself, because this is on the heel, Verghese, Tim he had an article out, the next 2028s to be offered. He's starting to get some attention. And I'm going through this process in my head, and I'm like, this dude is going to be the type of kid who makes up his mind totally based on how he feels.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you had left that sentence, I would be like, he's gonna make a decision based on vibes.
That's it. I mean,
100%.
That's just how it is.
Yeah,
and I'm dreading it already. And he's got 4 or 5 schools of being on the 15th, and I know he's going to Iowa State. I know he's going to Michigan State.
Mhm.
He wants to go. He's fast. He's infatuated with Dan Jackson, which is I got no problems with any of that. But I'm dreading it already. Right? Because I'm gonna need help. And I listen, I'm not gonna be that guy. I said the same thing with Knucklehead. I don't care where you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do.
Sure. Like you're gonna care. You don't. When you say you don't care where he goes, you're not gonna like strong arm him into Nebraska.
No, I'm not.
Right. But you care in the sense of
but they do know right away. Like they're polar opposites.
Yeah, he's wired a little differently than Caleb.
Yeah. Hey, you going to camp? They didn't ask me. Okay.
Good talk.
Yes, yeah, good talk. I'm dead serious.
No,
but he'd be the kid to say, "Hey, I think I want to go to Lindenwood." I'm like, what? You know, what do you want to go to? I don't know. I like to compete. A lot of people go there. Just see where I'm at. They didn't ask you either.
Yeah.
But that's how he makes the distinction when I'm just like, I'm not going through this again.
Lindenwood does have a fire campus, though.
No, I know. And we got a buddy that
is that the one in St. Louis?
Got a buddy that goes to school up there.
Okay. I always confuse Lindenwood and Longwood.
And
that's a real school, man.
You know, he obviously has a lot of experience with LeVar Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Woods was one of the first guys to come in. I'm like, Breeze, who's driving to East Lansing?
Let me see how far it is. How far is it to East Lansing?
Who's driving to East Lansing? You know, it's just like that's just kind of where we're at with this deal. I'm like, this is gonna be a treat. And he is also the type of dude I'm dreading. I'm gonna try to coach him up. We have 2 hours and 40 some minutes in the car today to go to Ames.
That's a 10-hour drive to East Lansing.
So I think 8's my limit. For him, I would. I feel like I kind of owe him. You know, we dragged him around a lot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know this, but we let him stay north to go to school one more year. Like we could have brought everybody over to the district at the same time. And we didn't, mostly out of guilt.
Yeah.
But just, you know, allowing him to do his own thing. And, you know, then he went to, you know, Rockbrook. And so I feel like there's this part of me that kind of owes him. So I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, just don't push me. So I'm going to really, you know, because he doesn't really care about music and, you know, he's going to be watching highlights or he's not like a great conversationalist, but he does have depth.
You got to pull it out of him.
But he's the type of person that will read something and it won't be true. And he'll tell you that's not true. Like, even if it's fluff.
Yeah.
Like he'll read an art like, well, I don't know why he said that about me. That's not like that's how he is. Which is fine. It's just I know all these guys in the recruiting business, and I'm like, hey man, I don't care what you say, just make sure it's accurate. Whether you like him or you don't, just like, cause he ain't gonna go along to get along.
Yeah.
He's just not.
He's not going to be one of those guys that like makes it easy on you.
He remembers he has a few more sideline interactions with coaches than I would like. Like we're having to talk through that because he's emotional.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this coach said this to me and this coach said this to me. I was like, well, why are you over there on their sidelines? You know, or whatever. And he remembers.
Oh yeah. He's a receipt keeper.
He remembers.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I told him I saw a couple of coaches at the Jet Awards, and he's walking me through a conversation they had on the sidelines. He asked me if I thought he was being sarcastic or not. I said, no, I don't. I think he genuinely was like, hey man, baptism by fire, you take your lumps, like keep competing. He gives me the nod. Oh, okay. All right, this how it's gonna be. So I'm just like,
oh, I think I know which coach that might have been.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he was I think the coach was being sincere. That's just his personality.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just how Coach Mendenhall is.
Micah is a lot like me in the sense that if there is an opportunity to take offense to something, especially when I was younger,
Yeah, he's gonna pick that side.
he'll find it.
He'll pick that side. No, 100%.
I'm a little better about it now. I'm not great at it. I am a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I think there's if there's a 1% chance, I think you're coming at me like I'm 100%.
Yeah, and
coming back.
it could be totally. He's even like that with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so I it's safe to say, I was finished folding my laundry this morning at like 5:05, treading this drive. I think I hit steam fresh, wrinkle free at like 4:40. But Rico, you'd be proud of me. I woke myself up out of a dead slumber because I almost wet the bed.
I've done that before.
Oh, I've definitely done that.
You're having that dream and you're just like, wait a minute.
Hey, so it's kind of sketchy. It's kind of sketchy. But yeah, I was like,
I know. Yeah, you've done the pat down.
You do the pat down. I literally had a dream where I was like walking to the bathroom and I was just like, something's not right here. And then I woke up and I was like, oh no.
It's I don't remember, and I don't think you can read in your dreams, but I'm over here arguing at a trough.
like at the old, like the Memorial Stadium.
Yeah,
troughs?
I don't know what venue it was.
It was probably
but we're having this back and forth. Why is this funny?
I mean, first of all, number one rule of the trough: don't turn your head.
We're having this back and forth on
eyes forward,
like using the space correctly. Like I was mad that everybody was so close. I was like, "There's plenty of room."
That's a fair. That's a fair beef at a trough. To be fair,
so I'm like, "Why are you all the way over here?" And the guy, I can't even remember the gist of the conversation, but we're going back and forth over proximity.
She's like boxing people out at the trough.
Hey,
Like,
man,
if any part of my like shoulders or arms are touching somebody, I'm not going.
and I'm
Too
like,
close, homie. Too close.
Yeah.
I'm literally doing like a baby jog to the bathroom. I was like, oh shoot. I said, no. You know what I said? I'll be perfectly honest. You know what I said? Oh no, I didn't. And I was like, whoo, I didn't.
You almost had the I pissed down my leg and I broke the other one.
The pat down is so
I don't
real.
even dream, man. I was like,
Dude, the pat down is
It's so real.
That is
I was
Because like for a second you're like, hold on, did I?
I wish I knew what facility I was at. It was dungy. It was dingy.
Juan says it's okay. I peed on a vacuum once because I was sleeping.
I pissed down my leg and I injured the other one.
Are you a sleepwalker?
I'm not anymore. When I was a kid, apparently I was.
Yeah.
And my dad caught me multiple times, like trying to walk around the house, pee in different places. Like he caught me in the kitchen once, and he caught me in the bath or in the office once.
What's wrong with the bathroom?
No, it wasn't. I was asleep. It's not like
I get it, but
Sleeping Ravi thinks the bathroom is everywhere.
yeah, that's kind of my.
This whole house is my bathroom.
A lot of people sleepwalk, and a lot of people pee, but there isn't always people sleepwalk and feel the need to pee.
It happened like a bunch for.
Did your mom did she grow like real plants?
There were some, not a ton.
There's probably an opportunity there.
I mean, it's not like I was choosing to try and pee in the kitchen. I never actually did, as far as I know.
Allegedly.
Unless my dad cleaned it up before I woke up. No, but there was
bless his heart.
There was like a year when I was like 8 years old where I just walked around and like when I was sleeping and like tried to pee apparently all over the house.
It was just dark and gray, like the walls were cracked. And it's true, right? Like you can't read in dreams, can you?
Oh, I don't know. I've heard that.
I don't dream enough to know.
I've heard that before. It seems like something people made up. I don't buy that necessarily, but I can't off the top of my head.
Is that like the same thing of like?
Well, I mean, next time you dream, see if you read anything.
Is that like the same thing where they say you can't imagine faces in your dreams? Like the only faces you see are people that you've seen before.
Yeah, like they say you can't invent new faces in dreams.
Yeah.
Which that sort of makes sense because I feel like most of the stuff in dreams are sort of like drawing on things you've seen either on TV or in real life or whatever. So
I think I'm pretty creative.
Sense. But I can
I don't know. I'm watching Daredevil Born Again, and I think the dude that I was sitting to looks like the caricature of Wilson Fisk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen, but it's a really good series. Like
I love Wilson Fisk. I know he's a bad guy, but
yeah. And it's funny too, because Shane, you'll get a kick out of this. He's been both black and white. You know, because obviously Michael
Clark Duncan
played him in the Ben Affleck one, which I think is a better movie than people give it credit for.
So I saw it when I was like in high school.
People hate on that movie. That is a good movie.
I liked it.
That's just because Elektra sucked.
So she's weird though. Like her character, she has that strange obsession with Daredevil, and you don't know if she's a good guy. She's in Born Again, she's a bad guy. Yeah, like she's they're playing off the comic book thing, Shane, where she's kind of under control of the hand, and then she gets her memory back, but she's still weird. But I thought Elektra was good too.
I didn't see Elektra. That's Jennifer Garner.
Okay, I get them confused.
Yeah, Conley and Garner.
Is that who it is, Shane?
They were about the same time frame.
Nope, it's not Conley.
Jennifer.
It's Jessica Biel.
Oh.
The married comedy she's in the married comedy with the dude that was dancing in Hitch.
The Chuck and Larry?
Wasn't she in that movie?
Which one? In Hitch?
No.
Which one's the married comedy?
Where the guys were getting married?
Yeah, Chuck and Larry.
Wasn't she in that movie?
Yes, yeah. Adam Sandler and
that's who I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's Jessica Biel.
Yes. I confuse her and
Jennifer Garner.
Yes.
I was a big
I don't know why, but
I was a big Jennifer Garner fan around the time of Daredevil.
Yeah,
a lot of people were.
I thought both those movies were good.
I didn't see Elektra. I liked Daredevil.
He's one of my favorite characters.
I liked Michael Clark Duncan. I liked Colin Farrell in that. He's
Bullseye.
Yeah.
Hey, Bullseye.
That's crazy.
Bullseye and Born Again. Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
Love it.
He's and now we're to the part where he's double crossed by Fisk, who is my guy. I never get the accent right. Full Metal Jacket, Criminal Intent, D'Onofrio and Reno.
D'Onofrio.
Him too.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Love him.
Yeah. I thought it was D'Onofrio.
I don't think so.
I defer to him.
It's not what you said.
Whatever.
For sure.
He said you're wrong. That's for sure.
Always. I'm over that.
I think it's D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Okay. Jennifer Garner's in another movie where she's like an assassin, but like it doesn't fit.
I actually think she has some legit like training combat skills.
Yeah, because she was an Alias too, and she did a lot of that stuff.
She did a lot of that too. Like
movie is like her husband and child were killed, and then she like just goes off the grid, and then she comes back and like kills the entire cartel who killed her husband and son, and it's just kind of weird.
No, I think is it Candy?
Maybe I don't remember what it's called, but every time I look at her, all I think is what's in your wallet.
Vengeful lady. I think it's Candy.
I don't see Candy on here.
It's Candy something.
Let me look it up.
Or Peppermint. It's something weird like that, where she plays this vengeful person.
There is a movie called Peppermint.
Hey, what's it about?
Peppermint is about. I don't think it's about. I mean, she's violent in this one.
Dude, can you read?
You want me to read? Look at this.
It's Peppermint. It's Peppermint.
Thank you.
That's the one.
All right. So, come on, DB. See, I watch a lot of bad movies.
It was good. I just can't get past like looking at her. I just couldn't. Like I said, all I think is what's in your wallet.
I don't think it's her physical abilities because I think she does have training.
That was pretty good. I said Candy. That's close.
You got to Peppermint. It got you to peppermint.
Do you know what I wanted to say?
What?
Candy cane.
I mean, that's closer, kind of no, I think like her personality doesn't lend itself to like, I'm going to go on a killing spree. Like she has like
she killed a lot of people in that movie.
Like there's sort of like almost like a endearing quality that you're like, I don't think you're going to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she was a good spy though in Alias.
She didn't age like I thought. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's probably 1 year at a time like everybody else.
Not today. Why don't you go to Ames? Why don't you drive?
Me and Mike would have a great time.
Why don't you drive?
That's my guy.
If Ravi takes Mike on any recruiting trips, you could just cross that school off the list.
Hey, I gotta ask.
They're not going back. They're not going to be allowed back.
Here's the thing, though. If I take Mike on a recruiting trip and they're like, you know what, we like these guys, he's 100% choosing that school.
We need to call him. So I'm going to ask him real quick.
You should let me
talk for a second.
You should let me take him on his trip to whenever Lincoln finally decides to have him down.
No, they told me they're coming. He doesn't want me to have anything to do with that. Like I can do anything. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. Like he's lecturing me on my involvement.
Yeah, that's why you should let me do it.
I'm like, you think I want you as far away from me as possible.
You're like, Lincoln's not far enough.
And you think I want to hear what they tell me about how you behave? No.
Just let me handle his visit to Lincoln.
Dude, listen.
I'll take care of it.
Dude's nuts. ask Coach Lamonji.
Be like, Michael, what do you think we should do here?
The dude is one angry decision away from being like, you can't be here. It's always the quiet ones. I'm telling you. Yes.
Yeah. No, I know.
He almost sat him down after the seatbelt thing.
That feels like an overreaction.
He's like, hey man, I'm emotional.
At least he's
if you know,
at least he's self-aware.
I'm like, if you know, then let's just get it all in here.
I mean, maybe he doesn't see it as a problem.
You guys gotta talk for a second. I gotta ask him this question again.
All right. Rico, what are you eating over there today?
It's a little breakfast Sammy.
Yeah?
From what? Sausage, egg, and cheese.
You warm it up.
I did warm it up.
Did you? No, I mean, I asked from where, or did you warm it up?
Oh, I got it from home and I warmed it up here. Yeah.
Is that a Jimmy Dean's?
Probably. It was in a red box. So yes.
Jimmy Dean's is the red box.
Hey, you know what's funny? So my mom would. That's childish.
That wasn't necessary. What are you doing? That's
what
not
are you
nice.
For?
That's not nice.
That's something Zoe would say.
That's not nice at all.
Hey, so two quick things.
You be nice to my guy DB.
Two quick things, and we gotta get to sports. So
yeah. I mean, we were talking about football visits. That's sports.
So my mom would make her own breakfast sandwiches and then wrap them up, like sausage patty. We would buy this one. Everybody used to buy meat in bulk.
Yeah.
She'd patty them up, pre-patties. Like we'd freeze them. It would thaw, make a patty, egg, cheese, toast, wrap it up, send me out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So for like, and this is weird because now I love them.
Mm-hmm.
So for like 30 years, I couldn't eat a fast food breakfast sandwich.
Really?
I just wanted them the way that my mom. I wouldn't go near an English muffin.
Really?
And I still don't.
You still don't like the English muffins.
I still don't eat biscuits.
You still don't like the English
I
muffins.
want them on toast.
Yeah.
Which is why I like which fast food breakfast
Hardee's.
place? Hardee's.
Yeah.
Because
they're the only ones that have them on toast. Sonic will do them too on toast.
Sonic's is fire though.
But I do love the Arches breakfast. I do love a nice
you do love those
sausage, egg, and cheese muffin. But for like 30 years, I couldn't go the other way because I was spoiled.
So Funky says IMG is starting to look pretty appealing now, huh?
How does he know about IMG?
We said it on the air.
Oh.
Damn. He's
Rolodex?
He says,
by the way, we're not doing that.
He says, Ravi, take him to some Christian colleges and show him how bad the dorms can be. That would actually be really funny. If you let me take him to just like all the places that like I took visits at, these very small Christian schools, because he would be like, what in the hell is going on here?
So here's the thing about his personality.
He wouldn't care.
No, he's super, super spiritual.
Yeah.
This dude sat through a 2.5-hour worship the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, man, that's too much singing. I love music. I'm not sitting through that. That's like old school black church. Like, I don't even do that anymore. So, yeah, it's a problem. So
I would be honest though, most of the places that I visited, there would be no confusing them with an old school black church. It's a different vibe in the evangelical community.
So this dude, so this is the last one. I swear I'm moving on. I'm only telling you guys this because I need help. So he came back from Atlanta, and one of the guys. So Domo it's a nationally, it's a Florida, Georgia. It's ran by Champ Bailey. So they hit him up they're like kind of like the other place.
Yep.
Right. Hey man, looking for a safety. Like the way you move. Can we bring you up to play in Battle of the Boneyard? And I'm like, Battle of the Boneyard at Sauter's tournament at the same time. I'm like, Breeze, we're not doing that. He sat on it for like 3 days. Must have circumvented the co-coordinator on the staff. Went to the head coach directly. Yeah, with Sauter's tournament, we do a lot of that stuff in the daytime. I think Battle of the Boneyard is going to be a lot of time at night. So I'm kind of thinking about doing that. Huh? Come again? I'm talking about wear and tear.
Yeah.
Can we make it to whatever? No, he goes, yeah. I talked to Abdul because that's his 7-on-7 coach, and Battle, their team. He's like, nah, get the national exposure. Go play with Domo. I'm like, how about you talk to me? Like, that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. But he found a 7-on-7 coach who is in total lockstep with his personality.
Yeah.
He and Abdul are the same person, which is funny because it's Kenny.
Yeah.
Abdul and I have the exact same birthday.
Yeah.
We are very if then. Abdul just says what I'm thinking. Kenny. So that's now his confidant. Okay.
He says visited a school that had 3 dudes in a room with only one outlet. Couldn't see girls after 7 p.m. in college. I left and didn't go to church for a few months after that.
Yeah, you said Heath is kind of nuts, right?
Dude, he's my guy. Yeah,
but no,
he had a.
We have all done that.
He had a wild period, I would call. Yeah,
just doing his thing.
Yeah, he's just out there.
I mean, we out here, right?
Yeah. No, he had his time.
He said, "Go get the night." I don't know, Kobe. It's different. It's different.
I'm just saying, you should let me take him on some visits.
Hey, Suave, do you have is there something to this though? Because this was a couple of days ago, and I meant to get to this yesterday. Suave, do you have Koa's clip talking about ice cream?
Yeah.
Do you have? Yeah. Are you rocking with this? Go
play. A question like this all the time. Hey, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? Okay, the minute a kid pauses, I don't really want that kid. Right, because you need to have some type of conviction, right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay? So whether you like chocolate or you like vanilla, I don't really care. But if you sit there and say, coach, I don't know. Is it melted? Is it not? What's the brand? So on and so forth. Like, what is this kid going to do on third down in front of 110,000? He's probably going to think about it more than he should. He's not going to have conviction, right? So it's, like I just said, long-winded, I understand, but it's the mental aspect is really what we're after.
Fair or foul?
Fair. Yeah. I think there's something to processing quickly. And I mean, there's a lot to processing quickly. I don't disagree with the logic of if you overthink one thing, you'll overthink everything.
Do you see the quarterbacks on his roster?
Who we got?
At Oregon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I would have before this year thought about Dante Moore as a quick blinker.
Exactly.
And Dylan certainly isn't. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but we saw clearly
okay. How many times? Dude, it's like Barry Bonds, man. You're going to hit about 500. How many times when somebody prefaces something with what they're not trying to be, they are?
No, this is
anytime you get the I'm not trying to be a Richard, you're almost always a Richard.
With all due respect, and you're going to say the most disrespectful thing ever.
Yeah, no, with all due respect, the batting
not trying to sound racist.
So I understand what you're trying to say here. And what I'm saying is here's what I mean when I say I'm not trying to be a dick. There's a pretty good chance what I'm going to say is going to sound pretty dickish, but that's not my end goal here.
Was that a comedy show on ABC?
No, I was Blackish. My point of saying that is, hey, no matter what I say here, it's cool because I'm not trying to be a dick. My point is saying, I know this is going to sound like I'm being a dick, but that's not the end game here.
Oh, boy.
And my point with that is, regardless of how you feel about Dylan, whether you wish he would stay, whether you're glad he's gone, whether you thought he was great, whether you thought he sucked, there is no arguing my guy did not get rid of the ball very quickly.
Okay.
There's zero way around that. I charted it. I timed it. I was on my phone with
do you remember these in-depth conversations we would have about Oregon? Because in our group text, we have an avid Oregon fan.
Do, yeah.
And you famously said, Dante Moore hasn't completed a pass in almost 3 hours of real life time. 2 hours of real life time.
That's a real thing that happened. That is a real thing that happened.
2 hours.
Because
I'm in the middle of a broadcast. Watching these guys just snipe back and forth. Was that Iowa, Oregon?
I think so. Because the week before, I think it was the week before, our guy, Matty D, love him to death. But they were playing like Oklahoma State, I think, wasn't it? And he was gassing up Dante Moore.
Big red gun.
And I go,
but it's broken. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, Lee, that's correct. I'm never trying to be. That's just often the end result by nature.
Well, I think Lee is in a very similar boat, giving the barbs he shoots at us. Hey, no disrespect. I'm probably going to say something a little slick.
With all due respect. I said with all due. No, I think there is. It was because they played Oklahoma State like the week before, and he was gassing up Dante Moore. And I was like, that's the worst team in power conference football. That team has quit on everybody. Like, that doesn't count.
Did I tell you the week they didn't meet during their bye week?
No.
Did not even meet in Stillwater.
Really?
Go home.
Oh, good.
Dead serious.
Seems like he may have been checked out on that job. And so I was like, I was giving Deemer some pushback about him gassing up Dante Moore against Oklahoma State. And listen, I understand you still got to execute, you got to do whatever. But then they played Iowa at some point later. I don't remember what the timing was. And he was, again, talking about Oregon. I go, yeah, Dante Moore hasn't completed a pass in 2 hours of real time.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
And here's the thing about, and this isn't like necessarily an Oregon thing. It's like, if that's what you're after, I wonder if part of that was why Moore comes back. I get the money.
Sure.
But I wonder if part of that is why he came back.
Maybe.
I mean, such a weak quarterback class. I thought it was very interesting because
he would have been 1 or 2 overall, right?
And there's more to the clip. And he said, especially in our offense. And I'm like, when I watch you guys play against like competition, it doesn't go like that.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And
like, at what point when they were playing Indiana were you thinking, ooh,
quick thinker,
they got a chance,
quick blinker? Yeah, no.
Like, maybe
not really at any point during that game.
And maybe shout out to Indiana, but I mean, Indiana is pretty vanilla, no pun intended.
Yeah. I mean, they don't do a lot of exotic things. They just execute at a super high level.
I get it, Pons, and then they had a couple thoroughbreds now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe some of it was Oregon's health. You know, because they were constantly hurt.
The wide receivers were in real bad shape for a lot of the year. I think they lost their number 1 guy before the year started. They were down a bunch of guys at different points of the season. So that's a fair variable to bring up when you're talking about a quarterback making quick decisions.
Yeah.
I do,
because I know that's one of the things like you're honking for
with
this year.
With Holgorsen is get rid of the ball.
You just want decision making.
Get rid of the ball.
See, we're so traumatized though, because we've seen slow developing ball being held.
That's not what it is for me.
It is.
It's not.
Can I just speak for you?
No, not at all.
Oh, I can't tell you when you're wrong.
You can tell me when,
because it's your thoughts.
I would say you can tell me when.
Why can't I control your thoughts?
You can tell me when I'm wrong. You can't tell me what I'm thinking.
Damn it.
That's different.
Damn it.
The reason I'm on the get rid of the ball quick thing is because that's how, however Dana Holgorsen has molded his offenses around different talent, it almost always involves scheming guys open into quick decisions, basically 4 to 6 yards down the field that are free chunks of yardage. And if you don't take those, the offense doesn't work, regardless of which version of it is. So if you don't take the free yards that your schemes open up, you will never have a consistency on a Dana Holgorsen offense. And I thought that was largely the problem last year, was they weren't taking the freebie stuff that should be there based on what he schemes up. That's why the quick decisions bother me specifically with Nebraska and Holgorsen from last year to this year.
Do you guys know people that can't make their mind up about anything, that just by nature seem to struggle with anxiety or stress?
Yes.
Do you think that's a direct correlation in your sphere of influence? Do you? You can talk, Rico, you weirdo.
The people, like, there's people I don't want to go out to eat with because I know the ordering process is just going to drive me crazy.
Is that how they function in their real life?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to do some more studies. I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. I need people to make decisions.
Are people that can't make up their mind more inclined to suffer from anxiety?
Yes, because I think it's the same. I think a lot of times, not everybody that has anxiety, I think, struggles with decisions, but I do think a lot of people that struggle with decisions struggle with anxiety, because I think there's a common root there, and that's overanalyzing things that are happening around you.
I don't know if that's like a direct correlation.
Hold that thought, Action Jackson. We're going to get to you. Go ahead, Suave.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a direct correlation, just because you struggle with some decisions in like an ordering process or even ice cream. I don't think that that's something that goes into your everyday life. Like, there are things that you've done that you don't, I guess you have decisions and you can make those extremely quickly. But when it comes to like food or something, like maybe with ice cream, you're just like, oh, well, I know I like this, but what if I want to try something different? Like, I don't think that it's directly the same for everyday life and like decisions like that.
I think there's a lot of overlap.
Hey, Jimmy Neutron, can you speak from back there?
He says,
"People hear me."
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So my whole thing is like, I'm just thinking of like my fiance, because she is like that, where I guess if we're using the example of like ordering somewhere, she'll struggle with that. But I don't think she sucks at her job. And when someone comes in or a child is coding, like, she has to make quick decisions. And that doesn't mean because we're sitting in a fast food line, she's indecisive there because she can't decide between a chicken sandwich or chicken nuggets. But if someone is, struggling for life, people turn to her and are like, what do we do? She's leading medical students, because she's a resident and going to be a doctor, to make decisions based on her experience, what she's learned and everything. So yeah, I don't think that I think that's a gross overestimation just from like one example.
Hey, Jimmy Neutron. So does she look at you sometimes and say, would you make your mind up?
Me? No, because I'm kind of, I would say, probably the decision maker, but there are plenty of times when like we're leaning one way and she just goes, you know what you want to do, so just say it.
Yeah. So you know what's funny about you saying that?
Mm-hmm.
This is just my 3 hour and whatever, and it was hilarious. She seems way more assertive in decision making than a chicken sandwich versus a chicken nugget. Because and it's your fiance, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I would, if you just asked me at first blush, I'd be like, she's probably less apt to not know what she wants to eat than it being a reflection of, because she doesn't know what to eat, that she's not indecisive.
I also think,
is that accurate or no, AJ?
I'd say that's more in line with just like one-off circumstances. I mean, we all have like, days where your brain's just not working or whatever, but yeah.
I could, because
I think
there was nothing about her.
Yeah. That said indecisive.
So
I think there's also, especially in people, and that's a really good example, I think, by Austin, especially people that have like very important jobs where they're making decisions all the time.
Sometimes
they're like, hey, I'm not making any more decisions today. That's on you.
Who do you know like that in a similar vein about when it comes to talking?
You.
Yeah. I'm not outside of here.
You don't talk very much.
I'm not saying anything I don't have to.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that, and I'm sort of the opposite. Like, I like this job because I'm always talking. Right? So it's like somebody finally just put a microphone in front of my face. And so I'm like, let's do it.
But at home, you don't have to say much.
No, but so we do talk a lot, but that's part of the reason I like that Natasha isn't into sports, is I don't talk about sports at home. Like we have other things in common. We talk about other things. So it's like, I understand. So in that sense,
Kobe,
sometimes I will get fatigued talking about sports. And so like, I want to go talk about other stuff, but I like talking. So that's not like, but I do think there's a lot of people in like doctors, lawyers, high leverage, high importance, high decision-making, high stakes positions that when they get home, they're just like, I'm good. But that's not an inability to make decisions. They're not like paralyzed by indecision. That's like, it's like judgment fatigue.
Hey, so I'm going to ask a question, and so Neutron, you're in, Suave, you're in, obviously you are. If you're building a quarterback, what's the number one attribute you want him to have?
Confidence.
Okay, Suave. Took you too long. I'll go to Ravi.
I know.
Quick processing.
Go ahead, Suave.
Confidence. I was deciding between confidence and quick processing, but I want my guy to be confident.
Mine's easy. It's similar. I'm gonna say decision making.
Yeah, quick processing decision. You know why mine is though? Like that's changed in the last couple of years for me.
Even more than. This is not quite chicken or the egg, but even more than like I want decision making.
I feel like quick decision making leads to confidence.
Okay,
are those two like pretty close together?
Maybe it's a byproduct, but hang on.
I think so.
Okay,
I think they're related.
So take Calandria for a second. Are we as worried about the outcome as much as we are? Hey man, just make a decision. Are we willing to live with whatever because a decision was made?
I don't think whatever, but we have our leeway, our latitude with him, I think, is much greater.
What were you enamored by when you watched the tape, though?
I thought he made some bold decisions.
Okay. Did it matter if it was a positive outcome or not?
No, but there also weren't, like even the interception, the ball hits off his receiver's hand. So there weren't any negative outcomes. So it's really easy to be enamored by the decision making.
What were you going to say, Suave?
Oh, I was just between the confidence and the decision making where like you're confident that you can get it into a spot and like it's the right decision and you've made that decision and maybe you're not a very confident person, but you're like, this is where I need to get it, but I don't think I can get it in there. Whereas if you have the confidence as well, you're like, this is where I need to go. It's a little tight, but I know that I can get it there.
So I think they both can precede the other. Like confidence can make it easier to make decisions, like you're saying. But I also think quick decision making can lead to confidence because you know you made the right choice.
Okay, so we just talked about this with Ant, right? Not R-I-G-H-T, W-R-I-G-H-T. Ant, right? Where we were talking about Price Sanford. What's the thing that you're describing is his confidence. Remember, he was like, "Oh fudge, this guy's going 1 for 9." He's shooting a 10. Now he's probably never going to go 1 for 9, but you know what I mean.
I mean, it happens to every shooter at some point.
But you like the fact that he's unconscious with his confidence about the next decision he's making.
Because I think the decision is, do I shoot? Do I not shoot?
And Price, and we like Price because he's shooting that thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think there is, especially and the reason I say it's changed in the last couple of years is I root for a team in the 49ers that man has no
quick decision making could hurt you.
Has no impressive physical skills whatsoever. Like Brock Purdy is not impressive physically in almost any way. He's average.
Hey, bold Kobe for me for a second and finish.
He's just average across. He's not bad. There's some things he's below average in. But the thing across the board that people are blown away by is his ability to make quick decisions. He's a quick blinker. He's a quick processor. And by the way, I said quick processing, not necessarily, you said decision making, which I do think can be a little different. Although
that's why I'm bolding Kobe's
I
thing.
think quick processing leads to quick decision making, but quick processing is the thing that people rave about with Brock Purdy. He can see what's happening and diagnose what's happening accurately in an incredibly quick amount of time. It's also probably the thing that made Tom Brady great. Tom Brady physically is not that impressive, right? Like, he's just not. Same thing with Peyton Manning. There's almost nothing impressive about Peyton Manning physically, and almost never has been besides his height. Like, he's got good size for a quarterback, but he can't move. His arm's never been great. He just is unbelievable at processing the information in front of him in real time. That, to me, is the most valuable quarterback skill, because not only will you then make quick decisions, but they will likely be the right ones.
Hold that thought. Let's take a quick break. Set the show. Shane, I know you got something. Suave has something. I want to get to something Kobe said as it relates to, I think, to football specifically, but how we view sports in particular.
Yeah, we'll come back right with that. But at 8 o'clock, we've got John Rathouz. He's a former PGA caddy. We'll talk a little Masters. At 8:45, Brian Edwards from Major Wager. And at 9, Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
I mean, we know we're good and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, this one stings. It's going to sting for the next 12, 24 hours, but we're going to be right back at it tomorrow at practice and be ready to go to get on a plane on Thursday and go win a series. Just able to locate my pitches and trust what I had, and knew the defense was going to make plays. Had a favorable win today too, so I knew didn't have to be perfect today, and I know absolutely that worked out. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, team I grew up cheering for, and obviously it's really cool to throw against them, and we're going to be back for them next time. Hope I get the ball again, but we'll see.
You know, honestly, being over here has been fine. You know, there's some things facility-wise that we have to get used to, but I don't think it's bad to go through a little adversity and some changes and kind of have to be out of our comfort zone for the spring. So it's been working out really well, and I feel like we're getting a lot of work done. You know, a lot of it's like hitting harder, serving tougher. I think those are probably our two biggest areas where, you know, we feel like we can get better from last year. And then I think just acclimating the freshmen, they've all been doing great. They've raised the level of our gym, so getting them up to speed has been a lot of fun. And it's a short spring for us when we only have 4.5 weeks of indoor, so we got to hit the ground running.
listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. DB, you wanted to jump right back into this question of decision making versus processing, and
yeah, because I it's fascinating because I hear this a lot after decisions were made, right? And Kobe said something earlier, and it's kind of they're landing the plane. It's Kobe, it's Lee, where the ability to process in a quick like critical in a high leverage situation. I think the quicker we make the decision, the more willing we are to live with the outcome. Right. So we like in this conversation, we're talking about best case scenario, like almost saying, well, if it works out, it doesn't, because Kobe said something interesting. He's like, well, yeah, you can process quick and you can make a decision, and you can lose confidence if you keep making the incorrect decision, having negative results. I read it as having negative outcomes.
Sure, fair.
Right. But sometimes, and I think especially with either quarterbacks or pitchers or even netminder or goaltending, like you can do the right thing,
still get the wrong result,
and not get the desired outcome. So then there's something that has to happen.
That's where I think confidence would come in. Confidence in your processing and confidence in your process. Because, like, I think preparedness is a really important part here.
Okay.
Like, even with the vanilla and chocolate ice cream thing, right? That's always going to be an easy decision for me because I know I like vanilla more.
Juan is a child. Hey, Berke chat GPT this.
Like, there is... Like, that's an easy decision for me because over the course of my entire life, I've prepared myself in a way to understand that I like vanilla more than chocolate. So as soon as somebody says vanilla or chocolate, my answer is automatically vanilla. So there's been a certain amount of groundwork done there, even though it's silly in this instance, right? But you know what I mean? Like, I've tried a bunch of chocolate stuff. I've tried a bunch of vanilla stuff. I prefer vanilla. So if you've done the legwork, that allows you to process things quicker, I think. It's like at the drive-thru. If I've looked at the menu ahead of time and I know what they have to offer, even if it's the first time I've been there, I can say, oh, this is what I want as soon as it's my time in line. So I do think the groundwork and the process before you get to that point helps negate the lack of confidence that could come from negative outcomes if you're doing the right thing.
Okay, so this happens a lot when we talk about clock management. Okay. So we're assessing something like the quicker it happens, are you, it's hard because I don't want you to go like revisionist. Like, do you like the optics better if it happens faster? So like, let's say it's Coach Rule and it's, he doesn't call timeout and they go for it, or they call timeout, get the play, they come out and they run. Like, don't we like how fast we make the decisions independent of the outcome?
Typically, yes. I do. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't know if there's a real correlation here or if it's just how it makes me feel.
So the things when it drives us crazy when it's a timeout, then it looks indecisive, or you let the play clock burn down.
Here's a really good example of this. I'm a big in basketball end of games, like, don't call a timeout.
I don't like timeouts either.
Let it play out.
I was going to get to that analogy, but go ahead.
Right? Like, you're down 2, they just made a bucket, you grab it out of the rim and you go, right? You got 7 seconds left, go make a play, go make a decision, right? I'm big on that, which is a little different than what we're talking about, but I think there's enough overlap there to say, hey, my guys know what to do. We have practiced this. We have prepared for this. I am confident in the decisions they're going to make. Whereas it feels like if you call a timeout there, then you don't trust that your guys are prepared in that moment, and you're going to try and crash course it in 60 seconds during a timeout. I don't love that. I also understand that's not what every coach is trying to do, but that's how it comes off to me. And I think you're deliberately taking away an advantage that your guys have in that moment in order to set a play up. So I believe, hey, you must really not trust them to make decisions in this thing. live and in real time if you're deliberately taking away the advantage you have, which is a defense in transition.
Yeah, it's fascinating because sometimes we'll watch guys stand over a putt or an approach shot and take 60 practice swings.
Yeah, and I'm just like, absolutely not. He's not making this.
We've seen,
or he's at the free throw line and he dribbles too many times, or whatever.
We've also seen some other putters historically, really good ones, that will stand over that thing about 4 seconds.
Yep.
Take one practice stroke, bow. You've seen, like, there's this thing that I think we fall in love with, and it's not reckless. It's willing to live with.
It appears as confidence. That's what we like about it.
I mean, that's like the whole Brett Favre thing? Or
I mean, I'm not a Brett Favre fan, but
no,
but we like the fact that he is. I don't know what people like about Brett Favre. I'll be honest. I'm not. That's a hard analogy for me, if I'm being honest.
Like end of the game. How many times were we watching basketball? And I could think of at least 8 or 9. Padilla might be better at the recollection, where we would say, somebody would call a timeout, we'd see the final play, and you'd say,
"That's what they came up with."
Yep.
That's what we called a timeout for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because yes, correct.
It just happen. It happens a ton.
Yeah.
And because I feel like some of the indecisiveness where fans would lose their minds with Nebraska in late game or late half situations is if it comes across as being indecisive.
You know what it is?
Not even so much that's the feel that I get.
You know what it is for me? When you make decisions quickly like that, it feels like this is something you planned for already. So like, let's say Nebraska.
So you are probably more apt to live with the results.
Yeah. If you're like, hey, this is,
if you don't hem-haw around.
I knew this was a possibility. I planned for this possibility, and this is what we do next. Whether it works or not, I prefer that, because let's say Nebraska's got a third and goal from the 3, right? And they go first play, they get 2 yards, they're down to the 1, and they're immediately back on the line of scrimmage. They had 2 plays ready. They were ready to go. They knew this was a possible outcome, and they knew what they were doing next, right? Like that, to me, it's about the preparedness, the apparent preparedness of the situation. If I feel like you were ready to go and you had already had a plan in place for that, where you are absolutely ready to execute one more time, that is something that I'm way more likely to just be okay with whatever the results are. Whereas if you're at 3rd and goal on the 3 and you have a play dialed up and it doesn't work, and then you kind of sit there and the play clock runs down, and then you're like, timeout. And then you go take the timeout and you come from the TV timeout and it still looks like you're kind of trying to figure things out. I have a lot less confidence in that situation because it seems like you had no idea that 3rd and 3 play couldn't work.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I think we're being a little disingenuous. And maybe it's not like one size fits all.
Okay.
But just because, like going for 2 versus Miami, it's aged where, because he was so decisive in the decision making, it's like we were willing to live with the outcome. We don't even get into the play call.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
where like you could make an argument, you ran for however many yards on him. Maybe you try and run it again. It's 2 yards.
Yeah, but because
that's what you do.
Because he was
decisive.
We're okay with it. I typically think that's how we think.
Yeah.
Like if you don't do I call a timeout? Play clock ran down.
I mean, there's the famous clip from that Orange Bowl, right? Score the touchdown immediately.
Yeah, too.
Immediately.
Yeah, so we're cool.
And it happened again in '94. Score the touchdown immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And guess what? Pretty similar play call, by the way. One worked, one didn't. We were cool with both.
Yeah.
Right? Because immediately in the end zone, give me 2 of them.
The optics.
All right, we'll be right back with John Rathouz to talk a little Masters coming up on Hurrdat Sports Live.
we all know that we haven't finished how we wanted to the last 3 years, so we've talked a lot about just making sure we're on the same page, and we all want to have no regrets going out of this year. And so yeah, we have such a great bond, us four, and we've been here the last 4 years together, so we're really excited to go out and compete one more year together and just hopefully get it done this year. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. But once I heard, I was really excited, and we get to go back in non-con to Brookings. So I think it's super cool that like volleyball's growing so much in South Dakota. We're a little behind Nebraska, but it's cool that we can kind of go and try and help move that along a little bit. And get sold out in like 3 minutes or something on Ticketmaster. I know a lot of my friends tried to get tickets and couldn't, so that's really cool to see, because I don't know if 5 years ago if that would have happened. So I'm glad that we can try and help move the trend a little bit in South Dakota too.
I mean, that's what we talked about after the game. I mean, it's been a while since we've kind of had that toe-to-toe, punch for punch, the intensity, back and forth from both sides and both teams. And we've been on the right side of so many of them. I mean, it's baseball. I mean, you're not gonna win every game. I mean, we were in position to win the game, and we just didn't. And we didn't execute a pitch. And hats off to them. I mean, they got the hit. I mean, we've been getting that hit, and we didn't get it tonight. And I think probably the one thing I'll take away that the one regret is that we just didn't respond to that emotional moment in the sixth inning. We didn't respond offensively to that moment and didn't punch back. That was almost like, hey, that was the moment that we always punch through, and we didn't do it. And we just didn't finish the game off that way. That's probably my one regret, but it was a hard-fought baseball game. And, again, it's a real tough night to hit. So we knew it was going to come down to free passes, and, we didn't play clean defense tonight. And, they didn't play perfect either. They walked us and hit us a few times too, and we just didn't get the key hit, and they did.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
The only problem is the nerves.
Yeah. Look at the long shadows. Symbolic this moment. The journey it's taken to get here. For all this history.
Over. McElroy has his masterpiece.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by John Rathouz, a former PGA caddy, to talk a little Masters here. John, how we doing, buddy?
Good. Always good to be on with you guys. Talk a little golf. One of the best Thursdays of the year.
We don't do this enough because you have more. We kind of pigeonhole you as just a golf guy. Like your humor and kind of we don't have enough fun with you during the normal course of the year. That's on us, man. We apologize.
Hey, I'm ready to go on anytime. I will tell you, getting the kids out the door and on with you this morning was quite a feat. So we're ready to go.
Listen, I'm on spring break, so I envy you because we have way too many kids around the house at this. It's like, hey, man, go back to school.
Nice studio, by the way, guys. I haven't seen this setup yet. This is awesome.
I appreciate it. We're very, very spoiled. We have some more toys coming too, so hopefully we'll be good at our jobs one day where we'll actually have earned it. It'll be fun to see those worlds come together. JR, we've been having this conversation. I actually wove in golf. Just kind of on a whim. And we just heard in the clip, Rory approach, standing over it, the nerves, this, that, and the other. We were talking about being decisive and processing, and how if we look confident and we just pull the trigger, we seem to be more willing to live with the outcome from a fan base standpoint. And I was using like timeouts and being indecisive and going for it on fourth, or not drawing up plays at the end of basketball games and saying, oh God, that's what we came up with. Like when you're talking about golf, and there's some players that have historically played fast, like Fox or Snedeker, or Dustin Johnson plays fast. How do you kind of reconcile guys' confidence in their tempo and not necessarily always factoring in the outcome, or because they play a certain way, you're willing to live with the outcomes?
Yeah, I think it's more that. I mean, these guys, you got to be who you are. I feel like, did this come from the whole Oregon QB coach ice cream talk? Is that where we started this?
Yes.
Yeah. I was watching clips of the 94 Masters last night, Jose Maria Olazabal, and he had it on a string, was swinging it so good and super decisive with what he was doing. A guy that came to mind in your list there that's going to probably be a factor this week that we'll get to watch under the microscope is Ludwig Aubert. I mean, that guy plays as fast as anyone on tour. And if I'm his caddy, Joe, as long as he's in rhythm and doing what he normally does, I love it. I think sometimes when you see things get bogged down, you need to really take your time with that decision. But then, as you know, be really disciplined with your normal routine. So once you've made that call, you got to go. I mean, they talk about that a lot on, lots of shots on that golf course that you're going to see this week where, once you've made up your mind, you need to be fully committed. And I think guys are willing, and caddies are willing to live with a bad result on a fully committed shot versus nothing's worse than when you're in between and then you're just all discombobulated. It oftentimes doesn't go well.
So you've had a unique position in this, being a caddy, where like I'm sure you've had guys that want to play a little faster, want to play a little slower. You talked about letting guys be who they are, but is there a balance between trying to let guys be who they are versus like you can tell a guy's in his head too much? Because like if golf, as much as anything, is one of those, like I would say like golf, baseball, tennis are ones where it's like if you're in your head too much, like it's going to get on top of you in a hurry. Like, how do you kind of find that balance as a caddy where that's kind of part of, I mean, like, yeah, you help them with clubs and reading things and stuff like that, but you're also like on-court psychologist or on-course psychologist a little bit too. Like, how do you kind of weave that, like thread that needle?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's little things. I mean, you're always trying to do things kind of subliminally where, at the end of the day, he might not even know that you did something. Maybe you pick up the pace a little bit with your walking, or maybe you engage him in some conversation if his head is in left field. So there's just little subtle tweaks you can do here and there to kind of, as the jockey, kind of crack the whip or pull the reins or, what have you. And so there's those little tricks. And certainly as you know your guy better, it's easier to kind of feel like it's time to do those things. Also, in the same regard, he kind of knows your tricks. And so you have to kind of deploy them, at the right time and not always use the same one.
John, the match is always so interesting because the course is the course, right? And I get it, golf, you're playing against the course anyway, not necessarily the field, but the layout, the familiarity. Is this not the tournament where you pay the most attention to kind of all the qualifications? Had to have played a certain amount of rounds. You're typically playing this style heading into there's all this data that comes into the odds in terms of who to pick for the Masters, these magic prerequisites. Is this the one tournament you're willing to overlook that, or do you think there's actually something to all the qualifications and data that come out when you're trying to put together your Masters pool?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're talking to the Sharps about this week, and as someone that's been there, and it is one of the most predictive golf tournaments of the year, right? It's a smaller field, and it's the same guys get a chance to play it year after year, and they learn the golf course. So absolutely, the course history matters a lot, but the form does too. Like if you're looking at guys that maybe haven't played a lot but are in good form, I think it's absolutely possible to go out and have a great tournament this week. I was able to see that firsthand. So that's a possibility. Now to win, right? We haven't had a first-time winner in a long time. That's maybe a little bit different story. And so, you always want to look at those metrics on, and also just kind of what sort of skills fit around this golf course. I think we'll see some interesting ones come into play this week. You know, from all I can tell is that we've going to have no rain. You know, the golf course is maybe going to be a little bit gettable today, a little, less so tomorrow. And then as we go into the weekend, get firmer and firmer because they're going to have complete control of it. So the short game, the plodding along, I think is going to come into play even more. You got to be playing good golf no matter what.
As you kind of look at, you mentioned not a lot of first-time winners recently. A guy that certainly is not wouldn't be a first-time winner, Scottie Scheffler. His odds kind of took a weird hit late last night as coming into this morning's round.
Interesting.
Like as DB said, not playing very well, but has a great history at this course. How do you, when you're kind of evaluating who you think has a legit shot to win this thing, how much do you evaluate how a guy's playing currently versus how they've played historically at Augusta?
Right. I think, there are guys that can kind of turn it on. We see that every year, that a guy isn't in great form and then turns it on. And Scheffler, he's been a little surly at times lately. He's kind of figuring out the media a little bit. And had a win earlier this year. And I think Brandel Chambly had a nice breakdown a couple months ago. I think it was ahead of the Players. They were kind of looking at his golf swing compared from this year to last year, and some noticeable differences. Now, could he have figured those out in the last month or so? Maybe. But if you look at the data on Scheffler, his ball striking numbers are way down from what they were, and so he's putting at a high level compared to where he was at the beginning of his career. His scrambling is always going to be good. But if we're talking about who's going to win this golf tournament, it's not that he's not maybe playing good enough to win, or that he can figure out a way to win. It's that there's going to be other guys that are firing on all cylinders compared to him. So I'm not as high on Scheffler this week. I could see how his odds got dinged a little bit. I think he's going to have the acumen to scramble around this place and score a little bit. But is he striking the ball well enough to kind of be clearly out in front, on Sunday afternoon? I'm not so sure about that.
Interesting. I've taken the bait, and don't let me fool you, because we always joke about our picks and stuff. And yes, I did this year go back to the Colin Morikawa. He was my third pick, but I can't quit him. Right? He's just like I just can't. But one guy that I have really moved away from, and I've seen his odds jump, went from like 30 to 1. I think right now he's currently at like 22 to 1. What do I make of? I was once enamored. Now, what do I make of Tommy Fleetwood?
We always like to bring Fleetwood up. Yeah, he's tough, right? I mean, obviously, since we talked about this last year, he went out and got the monkey off his back a little bit at the Tour Championship. So won, the $20 million or whatever it is. I mean, what a win. So I got to think this is the best Fleetwood's felt coming into a Masters in a long time. I remember last year, Butch Harmon, I don't know if he's still in his camp now or not, but he's definitely in his ear no matter what, because Butch just fills you with confidence. And Butch was like, this is the year, he's going to pick one off. And he didn't, and he almost didn't even play great in him. And so I think Tommy was able to prove to himself last fall. And then I think the way that this course is setting up this week is right in his wheelhouse. He's one of the best ball strikers in the world. He's actually a sneaky good putter, but it's his short game that really comes through. So if there's ever a Masters where Tommy can he's had a second, I think, before at the beginning of his career. I think it's a nice week for him. And honestly, what is he, like third in the world rankings, maybe fourth, and you're going to get him at sixth best odds? Like, I like Tommy this week to be in the mix.
Who is your, obviously you said you're a little skeptical on Scheffler. You like Tommy Fleetwood a little bit. Who's a couple guys that you're looking at as like, hey, they've got a real shot to take this thing down?
Yeah, well, I think a few come to mind. I mean, I think I'm not as keen on Rory going back to back with a bad back. Some distractions. I mean, last year we kind of called that one, and it was like he came through for us, and it was crazy back nine. But I think John Rahm is in a great spot coming in this week. I think he's obviously won here before. I think he was a little surly and hungry last year. I think he's kind of calmed that down a little bit, but the hunger's still there to prove people. And he had a lot of top tens in the majors last year. He started to kind of come back on the scene after a bad 24. So I think Rahm is going to factor this week. The data's there. He's played good on the Live Tour. I think Hideki Matsuyama is another guy, past champion, that everything kind of fits really well for him here this week, where he's been playing really good and actually putting really good, and his short game tends to shine on this golf course. I don't know if you want me to give my pick to win already.
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'll sit on one other. I mean, I think Patrick Reed, is a guy that another past champion. I know I'm rattling off these past champions, but this guy's in amazing form. And again, he strikes it really well around Augusta, but he's smart. He had some great quotes about how to chip around this place, and he ain't scared. And I just think that it's another one where, like Fleetwood, like Matsuyama, that the way that the course is going to be set up, you had Spieth's comments yesterday about how this is going to get firmer and turn into a little bit of a chipping contest if things go as planned. I think it sets up really good for Patrick Reed. And he's on his way back to the PGA Tour, by the way. So a little bit of a villain, but a little bit of, I don't know, I want to call him a hero, but he's kind of in a good spot mentally where people are like, oh, yeah, let's go, Patrick.
There's one of us amongst this crew that had the stones to pick Patrick Reed, and he shall remain nameless. But guys, if there's a way to put up our picks without the names, can we try to do that? If we can't alleviate the names, that's fine. But I'm going to read these off to you, John. And I'm not going to put the names with them.
You want me to pick the best one?
I want you to pick the pool. This is about prize money earned, so it's not.
Oh yeah,
it's the easy way to tally who wins.
So I'm in one where it's pick 6 guys total money earned, but you can't have a guy that's top 10 in the world. So that's the little curveball on mine. I'm listening.
The only caveat we had to this is you have to have one long shot, which was greater than 50-1 at the time it went off. All right, so we got a group of Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, Patrick Reed, and Corey Connors. That's one group. Next group is Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Cam Young, Victor Hovland. His long shot was Jason Day. We've got another group of Ludwig, Matt Fitzpatrick, Roy McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, and Siwoo Kim.
They're all stacked, right? I think, well, the one that most matches up with like kind of my vibes, I when I heard it was the Team A was kind of the one that I was kind of feeling the most.
So that's Bryson, Schauffele, Rose, Patrick Reed, Corey Connors.
Yeah, and that might not even be from a world ranking standpoint the best team, I would say. There's good guys on all of them, but you've got my winner in there.
Really?
Yeah.
You said you didn't want to say who it was yet. I think I knew who it was.
All right. So you like Schauffele? That's my guess.
No, DeChambeau.
No, I'm Damon's on it. I'm on Xander this week. Yeah, and I was my boy Paul McGinley, who I had on the Quiet Please podcast a couple years ago. Must have been reading my mind. He's one of the best analysts in the game, and I saw a little clip. He had Xander this week. I've got another buddy that does some good work at Read the Line, Keith Stewart. He's on Xander. So there's some sharp people on him. I think the data is really good on Xander. And last year, if you remember right, like he was injured to start the year, kind of fluke, and never really got into the groove, and it took him a while to get going. He got a win in the fall. He's had, I don't know, 5 5 to 8 top 10s at Augusta, like half I think 5 top 10s. And obviously since 2 years ago, 2 major championships, he's a little bit under the radar. He's got a lot of green boxes on his data set right now. So I think his caddy, Austin, does a fantastic job. And he hasn't putted amazing at Augusta, but I've read some interesting things recently too about how you don't have to putt amazing at Augusta. Everybody thinks about that, and you can, right? Spieth's done that. But as long as you're not 3-putting a lot, which is like I'm dialed in with my speed, and you're taking care of the par 5s, and Xander's one of the best ball strikers in the world, so he's going to sneak some in on the par 4s too. So Xander is my pick. Certainly, I could see other guys getting across the finish line, but yeah.
That's funny too, because he's the same guy that won our last pool play, and he also has. We kind of scoffed at him. It was Shane that has that group. When we kind of took a double take to make sure when he picked Patrick Reed that he didn't have to take a long shot. He picked him anyway just because of his familiarity and how he plays there. And you unsolicited brought up Patrick Reed. I could see why you gravitated towards that group.
Yeah. Hey, Ravi, what's your feel on Bryson?
Oh, I don't have one. I just thought that's who you were going to pick.
It's amazing how his temperament works for Augusta.
I'm not a fan of Bryson.
Is that just his confidence, or what do you think about how we view his mental makeup works at Augusta?
I think he just plays the best golf courses in the world at a really high level. He just understands golf. I mean, I don't know how he gets there sometimes, but he's a dog. He's a golfer. And I did confirm, I don't think Kevin Hart's on the bag today.
Dude, he's gone hilarious.
He's gone back to Greg Bodine for the actual tournament here. But
I was chuckling at the full getup. I mean, the hat, overalls. He was all in on being Kevin, and I was exhausted of Kevin Hart. Last couple of years, I'm like, God, this guy's everywhere. But I did just watch his Netflix. But I thought it was. I'm like, who else is doing this? It just fits.
Yeah.
His Kevin or DeChambeau's temperament. I was like, does he even know what's going on out here? He's just. It's not a grip it and rip it thing. I understand that's not that's a played out term, but he seems to give two bleeps and it works.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, I when I first encountered him on tour, I wasn't a fan of him personally, and I still may not be, but he's grown on me. I think he's kind of wizened up a little bit. He's got some good people in his corner. He's super entertaining. I mean, that thing he did with Steph Curry was one of the best videos I saw in the last year. Before we get too far down the road, though, I do want to give my sneaky guy that I like to play well this week. He's a little higher up on the odds boards than I thought, but I'm really high on Minwoo Lee this week.
I took him over Kim.
Yeah, I feel like Minwoo, another short game guy that's brought his iron game up here this year. Always a solid driver of the ball in terms of length, and has kind of reined it in a little bit, dialing it back in terms of how hard he goes at it. And a fantastic looper on the bag with Shane Joel. It's going to be their first trip around together, but Shane is one of the best jockeys in the game. I really think Minwoo could have a solid week this week.
And it was between him and Colin for my last pick because I had to get a guy up there. All right, let me ask you.
Colin's maybe not even going to tee off today. It looks like DB. I don't know. He's got a bad back and everything. Man, you're the leader of the Colin Morikawa fan club.
And I did it to myself again, John. Even before the pick, I was like, I can't believe I'm going back to this. Well, I can't believe it.
Well,
and now he might not even play.
Well, how crappy does he feel though? I'm buddies with his caddy Marker Bank. They had a sweet win at Pebble Beach, all gears clicking. It was maybe going to be his year.
Yeah.
And then this back thing popped up at the Players.
I keep clicking refresh.
Come on,
let me come on, Colin.
We'll see.
Did I jump the gun on Fitzpatrick, or do you believe in the hype?
No, I don't think Fitzpatrick is a bad one. I mean, he's got mixed results here. He's never kind of been a top 10 guy. He's got a couple, and he's playing amazing, right? And his chipping, he as his old caddy used to say, he chips cack-handed, and it's like, well, man, this guy's not a good chipper, but his strokes gained around the green has been really solid. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fitzpatrick got in the mix. I think some of his press clippings were like a little bit more on the negative end, like talking about misses, where to missing. Like he didn't seem like he had the aggressive mindset that you needed around Augusta. Maybe it's a little bit on the defensive side. So we'll see how that materializes. He's playing the best golf of his life.
If you had the top pick, would you have taken Schauffele?
I think I would have. Yeah, I would have. I'm really. I'm conflicted with Aubert too because he's playing so good.
Pick. I had the first pick and I took Ludwig.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, what does he have? A second and a seventh, and he should have won the Players, but he fell apart, and that's what everybody's wondering about him. Can he close? Right. So we're gonna find out. He's gonna be in the pressure cooker on the back nine on Sunday, and we'll see what he does. Nobody's gonna be surprised if he wins, though, right?
I gotta ask about my guy, Akshay Bhatia.
Oh yeah,
that's my dude. The odds have come down pretty aggressively before he tees off today. He was at like 60-1 a day ago. He's down to almost 50-1 now. Like, how are we? I'm obviously not talking about winning, but what are his chances of playing well this week?
I think he's got great chances of playing well, Ravi. That's a great pick. This course sets up awesome for lefties. He hits the ball high. Awesome caddy on the bag with Joe Griner. I think him and Bobby Mack are going to be intriguing left-handers to watch this week. So I think Akshay is a prudent pick there. And I mean, if it's not too late to run down to the boats, I mean, you can maybe make a little
him for anchoring. So he's come up with the rest already. I think it's because they just don't like Ravi.
I know the anchoring thing. He gets up there close. I think he said he was going to start maybe like putting with his shirt off just so he could show people that he wasn't doing it.
Well, he could do that. He's built like a goddamn stop sign. What difference does it make?
How long would that putter have to be to actually reach his chest?
You know what? He seems like he's a hairy chest dude, guy. So like maybe some of his chest hairs would be reaching the top of the putter, and then they would call him on it.
He looks like he wears about 24 36s.
Yeah. I'm just saying, as a fellow person from that part of the country, pretty good chance on the hairy chest.
Hairy chest. I knew that's why kind of you liked him there, Ravi.
Anytime there's some like random Indian guy, I'm just like, that's my dude.
That's my dude. Well, and he plays great in the wind too, right? You wouldn't think such a skinny guy would play good in the wind, but he does.
Yeah, as long as he's got to wear heavy shoes, but I think he'd be okay.
Hey, speaking of anchoring, anchor down.
Anchor down.
Anchor down.
John, we appreciate the time as always. Great stuff. Always good to talk to you. If people want to find you, you're at Rathouz, Rathouz on Twitter, and then they can find the Quiet Please podcast as well on the Hurrdat podcast network. John, love talking to you. Appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good week.
That is John Rathouz. So there's two things. There are two factors that I will randomly root for a guy. We just talked about one of them. Do you know what the other one is?
If they're diabetic or not.
If they're diabetic. My guy, John Rathouz, another type 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
So we root for John. We root for Akshay. Those are my guys.
He's just funny.
No, he's a good dude. We like talking to John.
He's just funny. Like, I like a good time.
All right, let's take a quick break here. Coming up at 8:45, we've got Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider from Major Wager. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
I mean, we know we're good and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, this one stings. It's going to sting for the next 12, 24 hours, but we're going to be right back at it tomorrow at practice and be ready to go to get on a plane on Thursday and go win a series. Just able to locate my pitches and trust what I had and knew the defense was going to make plays. Had a favorable win today too, so I knew didn't have to be perfect today, and I know absolutely that worked out. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, team I grew up cheering for, and obviously it's really cool to throw against them, and we're going to be back for them next time. Hope I get the ball again, but we'll see.
Honestly, being over here has been fine. There's some things facility-wise that we have to get used to, but I don't think it's bad to go through a little adversity and some changes and kind of have to be out of our comfort zone for the spring. So it's been working out really well, and I feel like we're getting a lot of work done. A lot of it's like hitting harder, serving tougher. I think those are probably our two biggest areas where we feel like we can get better from last year. And then I think just acclimating the freshmen, they've all been doing great. They've raised the level of our gym, so getting them up to speed has been a lot of fun. And it's a short spring for us when we only have 4.5 weeks of indoor, so we got to hit the ground running.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, and reminding you of our friends over at Next Gen Male Medical. 402-614-9700. That's the phone number. You can call, make an appointment. They will take great care of you. I was just over there yesterday, picked up my new stuff, excited to.
It's exciting.
I'm excited.
Are you doing it at home or are you going?
No, I'm an at-home injections guy.
Are you?
Yeah. Well, the subcutaneous ones are easy to do under the skin.
I'm sorry,
subcutaneous
Submariner?
No, Submariner is a person that goes in boats under the water.
He's a comic book guy too.
Oh, it's also a type of watch, a Submariner.
Really?
Yeah, they're fancy.
He's one of the originals.
Original what?
Comic book guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an old school guy?
Oh, yeah.
Is Superman the first one? Is he considered the first one?
That's in Shane's wheelhouse.
Maybe.
He said, what?
Good answer. If you want to feel like Superman or maybe Wolverine, need a little some of that healing stuff, Next Gen has you covered. 402-614-9700. They will get you feeling like your best self.
I got a better answer.
So to answer the question, I'm going to have to say both yes and no.
Very helpful. I'm pretty sure Superman's the first one.
Okay.
Considered the first superhero.
Maybe.
I want to talk a little transfer portal here.
Okay.
Because we can get into some serious stuff, but I also find it a little hilarious. Like the Berke situation's funny, right?
I think.
Like he got a tattoo one day and he's in the transfer portal the next day. That's funny.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm speculating, so I'm not. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Well, no, I was saying, so that's a little funny. I don't mind it, honestly. Like I appreciate, hey, we did something great, get a little tattoo to commemorate it. Now it's time for me to move on. I don't mind it. I do think Berke is a really interesting character in the transfer portal because I think he has a lot of value to Nebraska and the way they want to play, especially defensively. I also think he was probably reportedly asking for more money than he probably should. He might have overplayed his hand a little bit with Nebraska. And I'm really curious what his value on the open market is.
Yeah.
Because, yes, he does have really good defensive and positional versatility, but there's not a lot of teams that want to trot out a 4-man that shot 24% from 3 last year.
Yeah. So there's a couple things at play here. This is just me.
Yeah.
Feel free to pick it apart. I think I don't have any problems with the tattoo thing.
No, I liked it.
Because
it was a little funny, but I liked it.
I don't have any problems with the tattoo thing because I think, hey, Sweet 16 appearance.
Absolutely.
I'll always remember I did that with Nebraska.
100%.
I didn't necessarily look at that as, oh, I'm indecisive. Like,
oh, I didn't either.
A Nebraska thing one day and I'm out the next.
I thought the timing was a little amusing.
Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
I agree. I don't mind the tattoo. I just thought the timing was funny.
Yeah, like if I don't have any ink, so I'm probably not the right guy to ask. But if I was going to commemorate something and then not have, that would be like me. Like if I had a if I had a North championship ring tattooed on my quad.
Sure.
You wouldn't think any different on me, right?
No, I've got a really good, I actually have a tattoo that is sort of like this. Okay. So I got a tattoo of a barbell with 4 plates on it for benching 4 plates. Like that was a lifetime goal. It was a big deal for me. But I didn't get that tattoo until I found out that I couldn't lift anymore.
Oh.
So like that was an important thing to me. It was something that I achieved that I was really proud of.
Yeah, I'm kind of a heartstrings guy, so let's not go there.
Okay, sorry.
I'm kidding. Have your moment. That's kind of cool.
But I think that's a pretty close example of like I'm never going to touch that amount of weight again. Like it's not good for me health wise. And so, but that was like, hey, this is something I accomplished. I'm really proud of it. It's in my past now, but still want to commemorate it. So I don't have a problem with the tattoo at all. I did think it was really funny that he got the tattoo one day and then was in the transfer portal the next day. So the timing was amusing because I'm a jerk, but I don't have a problem with the tattoo. I actually think it's really cool that he did it. Like I like that he appreciated what was, because it's not like, listen, people are going to see that and they're going to go, okay, you didn't go undefeated, you didn't win a national championship, but like he appreciated what they accomplished so much. Like I actually really like that. The more interesting part of this to me outside of the tattoo is what is his value to the rest of college basketball.
Yeah, I think guys like that have to be careful.
I agree.
Because, and I don't know, he was so I think this needs context, right? Not to go all, hey, if we're going to have this discussion, we need to set the same frame of reference.
Yeah.
But he is the guy that when we first were paying for him, we were rationalizing whether he was worth the money.
Yes. Yeah, like this time last year.
Is that being disingenuous?
Absolutely not.
So I was watching I was talking to Sauter yesterday, and I didn't know he was that guy. But I said to Sauter, I was like, because of course we were talking about the intricacies of Nebraska basketball and whatever, and I'm like, I get it, right? I mean, he's going to see what he can command on the open market. I'm sure he was advised, hey, see what's out there for you.
Yeah,
if you like it, go get it, right? This is the way that we want to operate. Knock yourself out. I'm for you. Like, no,
like, that's not in our budget, but no,
and I said, I hope people don't make a big deal out of this. Cause I said knee jerk yesterday, although it wasn't knee jerk, cause it's still what I thought, even though it had just hit.
Yeah. It happened while we were on the air.
And I was like, I wouldn't fret. Right. And I still feel like that. Like we are the people that said he was making too much and it wasn't money well spent.
Yeah.
So like, which is it? You know what I mean? I still feel like that. And I'm not mad at him. Like, super good guy. Like, he's just, they see what's out there. Like, Nebraska has to operate. They're going to find out in a hurry whether the process is the process. I think I know a couple of the targets they're looking at, as I think, do you? You know, what they want to do in the backcourt, schools, kind of where these targets may come from. I can see how they're trying to build the money base. And it's so fluid, man. God, it sucks.
It is. Here's the thing that I look at. If I'm Nebraska, I'm just doing from a strictly
Chucky tats are dumb.
I'm doing it from a strictly like 30,000-foot analytical viewpoint. Because Todd makes a really good point. He says B2 has really endeared himself to the fan base. That's why we're upset about him leaving now.
I get it. I got no problems
it's
with
the big red cowboy hat. It's the all of it. Like he has really, and he was important to the team as well. But there were a lot of things that he did outside of on the court that we really liked, and he felt like a guy that we could really root for. So I think that's a lot why we're kind of upset about him leaving now, and I don't have a problem with that at all. But if I'm looking at this from a strictly basketball roster construction, 30,000-foot view standpoint, I look at it, I go, okay, what are the most expensive positions in the portal, DB?
Bigs
and
guards.
What does Nebraska need more than anything?
Bigs and guards.
Point guard and a center.
That's okay. Did I get that right? Let's go.
Nailed it. Right? So if I'm looking at, hey, I need a point guard and a center because those are two of my best players. They're gone now, and I have to go find them. Now, I like Leo Curtis. I don't know if he's ready to take over that role.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I like him from what we've seen. I have no idea if he's ready to take over that role.
I understand.
So they're probably going to go spend some money on a big. I don't think there is a logical replacement for Sam Hoiberg on the roster. I don't like there isn't. So you go out, you're definitely going to have to get a point guard, right? I think Nebraska looked at it and said, listen, we did the thing with Berke at center 2 years ago. We didn't really love it, right? We didn't love having to play him at center full time. I think it ate away some of his value in terms of versatility defensively. We probably don't want to pay him the way to replace the center that we need now. So what's left for Berke after we have to get these two high dollar positions? That's how I would look at it if I was Nebraska.
So I said this before, and I'm sticking to it. Right. This is a couple months ago, and I said I like the way that they're trying to set up and position themselves for the roster next year as well with Rice and a younger Curtis. And I mean, who knows with Oogie, but
I like Rice too.
I like kind of the class. Now they'll get young. They're younger, obviously. I mean, you lose a ton of years. I mean, Mass has played 27 minus the 20 years. Jamarcus Lawrence has got a ton of experience. Hoiberg, ton of experience, 3-year guy. So you'll lose that, but I think you're looking for who they're targeting. I think in the portal, especially in the backcourt, he's 6'4", 6'5". His school played with pace. I think you kind of understand how they want to play. Even after paying a $1 million fee, jeez, exorbitant. I don't know. You have to kind of base it on what you think you're going to get from Curtis, maybe?
I think so. I think that's important.
That is important.
Like how much you want to spend on a point or on a center depends a lot of what you think of Leo Curtis.
And it's so frustrating because the market is, volatile.
Oh, yeah. Especially for bigs. The market for bigs is crazy. I mean,
Badunga can't set the market.
No. There's not a lot like Badunga. But I do wonder if you're like, well, if that's what he got, I'm the second best center. What do I get? Or I'm the third best center. That gets messy in a hurry. That's why if you're Creighton and you got Arunse early, I don't know what they had to pay for him, but I think getting a guy early before the market was set is...
And if you're going to spend the money, you got to be thinking on super high potential and multiple years, right? Is that kind of the prerequisite if you're going to spend more than you normally would?
Those would be my prerequisites, is not a one and done, and I'd like all conference ceiling.
No, wouldn't we all?
I mean, if you got to go above and beyond and you're Nebraska, like that's what you have to be thinking.
Yeah.
If you're going outside of slot, like whatever you have slotted for that, especially at the big where you're like, well, we do kind of like Leo Curtis. You want to go above and beyond and spend on somebody else when you're going to have to pay price to say, I'm sure, I'm sure Asijan's making some money. I don't know what they're doing to Frager in terms of what he's going to make this year versus last year.
We forget because of Asijan's socials.
He's a pretty good player.
you do get him healthy.
Yeah. Like, I think that matters. But
and appears to be living his best life.
You're also going to have to pay him, right? Like, so I think there's a lot there where you're going to have to make some sound financial decisions.
And there it is. I agree, JPB. Reasons to overpay. Really skilled with high ceiling. Reasons not to overpay. He just plays so hard and fans love him and all that crap. Well, he keeps it a buck, don't he?
Let's take a quick break here. We got Brian Edwards coming up next to get our picks in for the week.
Yeah, we all know that we haven't finished how we wanted to the last 3 years, so we've talked a lot about just making sure we're on the same page, and we all want to have more regrets going out of this year. And so yeah, we have such a great bond, us four, and we've been here the last 4 years together, so we're really excited to go out and compete one more year together and just hopefully get it done this year. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. But once I heard, I was really excited, and we get to go back in non-con to Brookings. So I think it's super cool that like volleyball's growing so much in South Dakota. We're a little behind Nebraska, but it's cool that we can kind of go and try and help move that along a little bit. I think it sold out in like 3 minutes or something on Ticketmaster. I know a lot of my friends tried to get tickets and couldn't, so that's really cool to see, because I don't know if 5 years ago if that would have happened. So I'm glad that we can try and help move the trend a little bit in South Dakota too.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Now, Vegas insider, senior handicapper, and fan of the cold Budweiser bottles, Brian Edwards.
It's got to be touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
Brian Edwards.
I don't really love it.
Brian Edwards.
Were they using the cream cheese to butter the bagel?
Brian Edwards.
I'm going with the cowgirl.
Here is Brian Edwards.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We're joined now by Brian Edwards, our Vegas insider from Major Wager. What's up, B? How we doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Oh, we're good. We're good. I with this part of the year and the season, I know you told me why you got off of it, but would you ever contemplate going back to capping baseball?
I think I've been out of the game too much. I don't know anything about the players. I got out like 13, 14 years ago. And I don't know. I don't even watch Sports Center during the summer. I mean, I really I have become like as ignorant as you can be about a sport, as if I'm like a 7-year-old girl, and you're talking like I don't have no idea who these guys are except for Ohtani. I mean, the guys that you can't avoid that are, but I literally know nothing about the sport anymore.
What was it about baseball that was so difficult for you as a capper?
No. I thought it was the easiest sport. You just had to be on top of it so much. And after the late August through March Madness grind, the last thing I wanted to do was jump into a sport you have to be on top of every day. I mean, if you go on a vacation for 3 or 4 days, you're out of it. You don't know what bullpens are tired. You're not on. I mean, you have to be on top of it for 5 months on a day-to-day basis. And I think I just needed the mental break, if you will, from stressing on games
We have and I couldn't do it, but there was a fantasy baseball draft on the same night as I was doing the March Madness teams draft, and this is what the sports network, so guys that are in sports, for the Husker Radio Network, Brian, and even a couple of the guys were so leery about getting in daily baseball fantasy because of
it's a grind,
the time commitment.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine doing daily fantasy baseball setting like?
No.
And my old partner, like Sharp, was a big fantasy baseball guy, and like some guys are just built to embrace that day-to-day thing. But you're right with the bullpens and being taxed and stuff like that. Like it's a little more in depth.
I mean, I used to love it. I loved it. But I just grew, I don't know. I just got sick of baseball and then the just day-to-day grind of hoops and
I'm with you though. I'm glad you said that you thought it was easy isn't the word I would use, but relative to certainly the NBA where you have to clearly pick your spots, I don't mind baseball at all.
I do think baseball is
if you're on top of it.
Relative. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on top of it, because teams go hot, cold so much, and then there's home away dichotomy that it's pretty.
Yeah. Hey, getting out of town games, like get on a
plane day
after a night game, getaway day, bullpen tax. You got the matchups, the righty lefty, the home away, the night day splits. But I will say, if you are able to stay on top of that stuff, I agree. It is the relative easiest one to pick. The other thing that I thought, so I used to be really big into baseball, gambling, and things like that. When Vegas caught up with the analytics that the nerds were in for a decade before Vegas started getting into them, that also made it more difficult. It used to be like shooting fish in a barrel. Before Vegas got up to the analytics.
And it's a big dog sport too, which a lot of people, I think, makes some people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And what I like to do my last 3 or 4 years I was doing it was it was underdogs in the sense of the payout, but I like doing run lines -1.5 at plus money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're not on the underdog, but you're getting paid underdog payouts. So that's what I would always do the Braves at home on the run line, when they would be -130 or -140, you get them +140, +150.
For eating the extra run.
Good payouts.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. You obviously like a few spots here in the NBA. It's been tricky, man. And you got to kind of find the value. It seems like you have. Where are we starting?
Yeah, it's always tricky this time of year. You got to either go against the teams that are really tanking hard, or you got to back the teams that have plenty of motivation. So I'm backing 2 teams tonight with plenty of motivation. That's the Toronto Raptors, who they're only a half game back of the Hawks for 5th in the East, but they're only a half game ahead of Orlando for number 7, which obviously is the play-in, and they're only 1 game ahead of 76ers for 8th, which is obviously also the play-in. So Toronto 6-1 both straight up and against the spread in its last 7 at home, and they are laying either 4 or 4.5 to Miami. Actually, there's 3.5 at Caesars. And they just beat Miami at home 121-95 2 nights ago. led by 13 at the end of, or I'm sorry, at halftime, 18 going in the fourth. They just dominated. They dominated them twice at Miami earlier in the year, beat them 112-91 in South Florida and beat them 106-96. So they've beaten them by double digits 3 times this year. They're motivated tonight. I like the Raptors at home laying 4-ish to the Heat. Oh, and then I'll just jump into the other one. Let's go Rockets -4 at home to Philly. Now both teams are motivated. As for the Rockets, where did my standings page go? Okay, yeah, here we go. They are tied with the Lakers for 4th, but the Lakers own the head-to-head, so obviously they want home court, so they want to get ahead of the Lakers. So plenty of motivation here. And the Rockets on a 7-game winning streak, 5 wins by double digits. And let's see, they and I already gave you the motivation with the Lakers. So I like the Rockets at home tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I think there's some couple teams in the West that are looking for that 4th spot, right? You start looking at what's on the horizon in the NBA. Is that a good spot? It sounds like it with how you're looking at Houston. Like there's some teams that are vying for that 4th spot, especially with the Lakers injury situation.
Right. Yes. And I mean, it's not like they can't. Well, I guess they're 1.5 back of Denver for 3rd. I guess they could get there. I'm not sure who Denver's playing here these next couple of nights, but yeah, I like the Rockets there. And then I'm just going to fade the Wizards, who are so bad. They are just throwing out this G League team. All right, so the Bulls are -6 at Washington.
Guys.
Go ahead.
I don't even recognize a couple of those guys.
Oh, yeah, man, I've hardly heard of any of these guys that the Wizards are throwing out there. But the Bulls I'm sorry, go ahead.
They got a chance. They have an interesting roster when healthy.
Bulls,
if you're allowed, no, the Wizard.
Oh, right.
If you allow yourself to fast forward to next year and kind of look at a healthy roster, they at least have to interest you a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, with Anthony Davis and Trae Young. I mean, never seen Trae Young play where you got a rim protector that'll improve the defensive side of the ball. We've never, because Trey's going to facilitate. Just out of the where's Ravi on Trey? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Can I get Ravi's eval on Trey before I even get him?
We got to go to the pre-draft discourse too.
Yeah, so a lot of it was the people calling him like the next Curry and things like that. First of all, it's just incredibly disrespectful to one of the greatest players who's ever played the game. That just, anybody that shoots from a long way away must be Curry. He loses a lot for a guy that's supposed to be good. I don't care what the numbers are. It's funny you bring him up. And I was having this internal conversation.
I knew Ravi was going to blister his email. Let's go.
Years in the making.
So I've had this kind of like internal conversation with myself over the last few days of like, what does it mean to be good at basketball? Is it somebody who directly affects winning, or is it somebody that has a skill set? Because like obviously Trae Young has a certain skill set, right? Like there's things that he's very good at. He's a good shooter. I think he's got pretty good vision. Obviously a good ball handler. But he in no way has really affected winning in a big way ever in his life. Right. So I look at it and I go, okay, my indication, like when you first say that, I want to say, Trae Young is bad at basketball. I don't want to mess with him. But he also has like a very high skill set. So I've been having this like internal monologue. It's like, what does it mean to be good or bad at basketball? And Trae Young is sort of like the epitome of the problem between the two sides of it. Can put up great numbers, has a really good skill set in certain areas. But if you need to win games, I just have no interest in having him on my team.
And is James Harden similar? But maybe James Harden could probably be better defensively. I don't know if Trae could be much
physically
better.
Not capable. He's physically not capable. James Harden.
Although Harden is playing for another team that is looking to make a move in the playoffs too for the spot.
And when Harden got shamed into it, he started playing better defense. But not great still, but better. The difference with Harden is if he's your best player, he does kind of give you a floor of like 40 wins.
Right.
Like he will raise. So like as much as I don't like James Harden either, he really does elevate your team to a certain level. It's like especially prime Harden. You're like, I'm going to be a certain level of competent with James Harden. Like Trae Young could go out there, you could win 4 games, and he'd be like, I got 28 and 12 a night, baby.
That's a great eval. I don't disagree with anything Ravi just said.
I can't believe you just
I was in mid-sentence and it just hit the side of my brain. I was like, you know what? I would love to hear Ravi's eval.
Like, I bet Ravi
that was an 87 mile an hour slider with 0 movement. That thing was getting turned around. I mean,
like, wait a second, time out. Got to hear Ravi.
Jeez, put the
All right,
cord in.
so back to how bad the Wizards are and why I'm on the Bulls -6. Well, they won 129-98 at Washington the other night. All right, Washington's lost 23 of their last 24, 17 losses by double digits, 19 by 8 or more. So Bulls -6 or 6.5 tonight.
All right, let's go.
Remember your guy Cam Whitmore? That was a nice discussion.
Dude, I told you, I was like, that guy can't do anything on a basketball court. He's just super athletic.
Yeah, he's in purgatory in Washington.
And guess what? He doesn't do anything on a basketball court.
Why am I forgetting where he went to college?
Cam Whitmore's a Nova guy.
He's Villanova.
That's right.
Yeah.
And every time everybody's like, oh, this guy's a lottery pick. And I was like, that one? Are you sure? That one. The one who does not look like he possesses a single basketball skill whatsoever.
Oh, all right. Go. Let's close out with UFC. What do we got here, B?
All right. I'm going to go with Prohaska. It should be it's going to be just a little striking war. Shouldn't last long. Somebody's going to get one of the other inside 2 rounds. Hey, Yuri, besides people named Alex Pereira, he is 16-0 and has not tasted defeat since New Year's Eve of 2015, except for the 2 KOs from Pereira. So I'm going to go with Prohaska, and then I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. He's lost back-to-back decisions, but Randy Brown's lost 2 of his last 3. Randy Brown's normally got a height advantage over other guys. Holland's 6'3", just like him. I'm going to go Holland at about even money, maybe -102 at FanDuel. And then it's a pretty good card. I mean, Reyes and Walker's a pretty good fight. I hope Blade shuts this Hokit clown up. And then Cub Swanson and Nate the Train should be fun. But I didn't have a pick for any of those.
All right, buddy.
There you go. That's our guy, B. Edwards, Vegas Insider, Major Wager. B, appreciate the time as always. Thank you for letting me get some Trae Young thoughts off my chest here. And
I loved it. See you guys.
Thanks, B.
That is Brian Edwards from Major Wager. Let's take a quick break here. We will get to Michael Bruntz coming up next on Husker. What show are we? Hurrdat Sports Live.
But he is 24/7 Sports.
He's going from Husker 24/7. We're Hurrdat Sports Live. There's too many H's going on here. It's fine. We'll be right back.
We all know that we haven't finished how we wanted to the last 3 years, so we've talked a lot about just making sure we're on the same page, and we all want to have no regrets going out of this year. And we have such a great bond, us 4, and we've been here the last 4 years together, so we're really excited to go out and compete one more year together and just hopefully get it done this year. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. But once I heard, I was really excited, and we get to go back in non-con to Brookings. So I think it's super cool that volleyball is growing so much in South Dakota. We're a little behind Nebraska, but it's cool that we can kind of go and try and help move that along a little bit. We get sold out in 3 minutes or something on Ticketmaster. I know a lot of my friends tried to get tickets and couldn't, so that's really cool to see, because I don't know if 5 years ago if that would have happened. So I'm glad that we can try and help move the trend a little bit in South Dakota too.
mean, that's what we talked about after the game. I mean, it's been a while since we've kind of had that toe-to-toe, punch for punch, the intensity, back and forth from both sides and both teams. And we've been on the right side of so many of them. I mean, it's baseball. I mean, you're not gonna win every game. I mean, we were in position to win the game, and we just didn't. And we didn't execute a pitch. And hats off to them. I mean, they got the hit. I mean, we've been getting that hit, and we didn't get it tonight. And I think probably the one thing I'll take away that the one regret is that we just didn't respond to that emotional moment in the 6th inning. We didn't respond offensively to that moment and didn't punch back. That was almost like, hey, that was the moment that we always punch through, and we didn't do it. And we just didn't finish the game off that way. That's probably my one regret, but it was a hard-fought baseball game. And, again, it's a real tough night to hit. So we knew it was going to come down to free passes, and, we didn't play clean defense tonight. And, they didn't play perfect either. They walked us and hit us a few times too, and we just didn't get the key hit, and they did.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7. Bruntz, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Oh, geez, you good, Bruntz?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh man, I'm good, man.
Sorry.
It's not grocery shopping. You didn't have to general leave the vehicle in the yard, man. Where you seem a little just, I don't know. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm dealing with some stuff here. So my apologies.
You do sound a little under.
Sounds like we got a sinus situation.
Stupid weather, right? It's snowing one day, and you're
90 the next,
tanning your ankles the next, man. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, I think I think it was the post spring break stuff at school. Something got in the walls here, and made it through the force field. So I think that's what I'm dealing with. We're good though.
Hey, do you ever have the alibi? Because we always like to blame it on the kids, but are there times where like you're just not well and the kids are like just living their best life?
Very rarely. It hasn't happened recently. It's usually I'm very rarely patient zero, put it that way.
They think Brad Pitt and zombies patient zero.
I was thinking Outbreak and Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, that's a good pull.
A big Ebola guy.
Yeah.
Ravi Lulla here for Ebola.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
Thought it was a funny thing to say at the time.
All right, Bruntz. I want to start with baseball.
Okay.
Only because I was fascinated by Coach Bolt's explanation for the ejection. The difference between an excuse and an explanation is ownership. He appeared to eat that one. Like, is that not the most Bolt explanation ever?
Yeah, it was. He earned it. I mean, he definitely earned it. It was a number of things. It was I don't think they love the full count strike three call on Sanderson. Not often you get the breaking ball. The breaking ball call up in the zone is not one you often get. And I don't know. I generally will trust Case Sanderson's eye. I think he's got a decent eye.
Yeah, you want to put that hanger back in the closet, didn't you? I mean, that thing just like what?
So they didn't love that. I don't think they loved some of the stuff that KU was doing in the other dugout.
Kind of spicy for a cold. It was.
Yeah, it was a little.
That had more edge than the Nebraska Creighton game. I thought. Like it was funny. Like I mean, they went to a weekend guy to close the thing out. Like they were that way. And last year when Nebraska played at Kansas, it was the same way. Like it ran hot, and I'm not sure why. But it was the same way. And Clevenger has a tendency when he gets a strikeout to thump his chest a little bit. He'll let him know. He did that last year at KU. He got a key strikeout and in a tight situation, and I recall he let the opposing dugout know what happened. So I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of that going on, and I think it just as the game went on, it seemed like more of that stuff was happening, and they didn't really have great control of the game. So I think, what was it, the previous time he'd been tossed was in like 24 or something like that. So he's spacing them out at least.
He was due.
I was just thinking about, he's probably like, man, how we have this few hits, not one of them for extra bases. Fortunate to manufacture 3 runs, right? I mean, weren't barreling. It wasn't a lot of good and hard contact for the most part the other night, which was, for me, it wasn't necessarily a loss, but it was. That's a much better offensive team than they showed the other night.
Yeah, no, and then they had the chance to kind of blow it open early and weren't able to do it. I mean, the bases loaded early. And so I think that was pretty disappointing. I think they're being careful with Blackowitz on the pitch count stuff. Because, I mean, on a normal night, he could have gone 7 probably with the way he was pitching against Kansas if they wanted to stretch him out to 100 pitches. But, yeah, I think it was just kind of it was a game that they have not played that way often this year. And I think that was maybe the disappointing part of it, was even though the bullpen gave up the lead, you just, for the, rare time this year, you haven't had the lineup there to kind of bail them out. And that's been the secret sauce, I think, for him, is, scoring 7-8 runs in midweek. That makes that margin for error a little bit wider than having to win 5-3 or, only scoring 3 runs.
Level of concern with the Bats heading into one of their 2 biggest series of the weekend, or of the season this weekend.
Not too concerned. I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I hate to say, like, oh, well, it's good you lose a game. And I mean, it was probably a little bit of a wake-up call for him. Somebody comes into your stadium and, doesn't push you around, but they basically stood in there and went punch for punch with Nebraska. And it had been a while since you'd seen a team do that. So maybe that wakes him up a little bit going to Oregon. Oregon's an interesting team too. I mean, they lost a midweek last night to Portland.
Yep. Apparently don't play Portland at like,
yeah.
I mean, that's a few of those now for the old Pilots.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, they were in the 60s RPI wise going into that game. I was surprised by that, but yeah, they Oregon scores 3 in the 7th, and you're feeling okay about things, and Portland answers back with a 6th spot. So I don't know. Oregon feels like they'll probably be a fairly desperate team going into this one, given that they've lost the series at Michigan. You dropped the midweek. This is a really key series for them as well in terms of getting in the conversation for things. I mean, I didn't look after last night's loss, but they were a lower RPI team than Nebraska was. So it's a big series for both teams for very different reasons.
I don't expect 13 runs like Portland had last night, but do you see some opportunities if you can get to Oregon's to the bullpen?
Yeah, I think so. I think Nebraska, Tuesday night aside, I mean, I think they're a fairly confident offensive team. I think getting Jeske back gives you a little bit of lineup flexibility that you maybe didn't have, the previous couple weeks. And Grigo's hitting, Red Stokes is hitting, and it's, I'm expecting a series where it's going to feel a bit like a regional in some ways. I mean, these are 2 good teams. These are 2 teams that have postseason aspirations. These are two teams that are fighting for a top 4 seed in the Big Ten. The last time these two teams played, Nebraska really kind of took it to Oregon here in Omaha in the tournament. And, Nebraska is going to see some really good arms. So you're going to have to be opportunistic. You're going to have to put balls in play. And, I think Nebraska can certainly do that. I mean, I don't look at, the Tuesday night game as like a symptom of something larger. I mean, it's a midweek baseball game that they lost 5-3 against the top 40 RPI team. Like that happens.
I'm curious to see, because obviously Will Sanford gets all the headlines for Oregon, but I think stylistically, I'm fascinated by Nebraska's offense, especially if they stay kind of with that lineup, Wordley towards the top. You mentioned Jeske coming back healthy. You want this series to be lower scoring or more offensive if you're Nebraska? You obviously want to pitch it well, right? But you may have to score a little.
You're going to have to score a little. I mean, I think
really good there. Oregon is at home.
Yeah. The thing you're going to have to really be able to do, I think, is you're going to have to be able to counterpunch. If Oregon gets a couple runs early, you have to respond. That's the key in a game like this. And I think Nebraska has the pitching staff where, I would be very surprised if it's like a 13-9 game. Like I'm not expecting that kind of game. Both of these teams can pitch it relatively well. Nebraska does, the bullpen's got to get things figured out. You got to figure out who you can trust, and that's an outing to outing thing right now, I think. But I don't think this is going to be like a hugely high scoring game. And I know there's also some weather concerns. Sounds like Friday will be all right, but maybe a little bit dodgy on Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's, if you're Nebraska, you probably want to be able to hold that offense down a little bit and not, I think Nebraska has the arms to do it, but I don't foresee how this would be a really high scoring series. I think it's going to be pretty well played.
You good on baseball or anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we move? Let's move on to basketball here.
You're always portaling. You thought Portland wasn't enough for you?
I love a good portal here, Bruntz. Obviously, Berke announces he's going into the portal, gives his little goodbye letter, makes it seem like he's not really testing the waters, like he's leaving.
It's Chat GTP. He didn't specify.
Well, he did hit post though. Like generally, you wait. I mean, not everybody does these at all, but if you do make a goodbye letter, typically you're gone.
You big hyphens guy. Like, do you? That is hilarious. That is absolute classic. Do you care about using technology, Bruntz?
Do I care about using technology, like writing things for me?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You want to make that clear?
Yeah, I don't.
Replies to him yesterday, obviously, with how it came out. There's a story of a quarterback at Army who's a really, really good player, by far and away their best quarterback. And cheating is a huge deal at West Point. And taking a test and he left the deal open on turning it in online, which is how he got caught. I mean, that's pretty incredible, right? Like, those guys are pretty bright. The old chat, the chat thing will get you, Bruntz.
You gotta clean it up. Stay away from Claude. Stay away from Claude.
All right, carry on, Bruntz.
Yeah, I don't dabble in that. But no, what was the question? Sorry, besides the
no, we didn't quite get to it because we got distracted by Chat GPT.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still thinking about you as a skeleton. That's all.
No, the question is, what is in your mind?
The hands get me. The hands.
I do that a lot. I realize I do this a lot.
Oh shoot!
You know, praying for patience probably. But the what do you find in terms of the value that Berke brought to the team from an on-court standpoint versus the value he seems to have to fans from, I guess, a sentimental standpoint? Because it seems like maybe those two aren't totally in line.
No, they're not. I think as a personality, there's nobody better. And I think whenever you have good teams, like you always have somebody that's a little bit like that, right? Like somebody that's kind of keeps the mood light. You know, certainly he had his moments like with the blood flowing out of his mouth and everything. It was Wisconsin, I think. You know, where, you know, the off the court type stuff he was excellent at. And I think, you know, when you had the long run of the undefeated season and everything else, I mean, just having somebody to kind of break the tension like that, like he was the ultimate locker room guy. And the on the court stuff, I mean, you know, it's nowadays it's a bit of it's a math problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, how much are you willing to pay for production? How much are you willing to pay for the other stuff? What's the value of that? I think sometimes it seems like this portal cycle that there's a lot of the prices have gone up. You know, and I think that was ultimately kind of what the conversation was, is what are you willing to, if you're Nebraska, pay for that kind of production, and could you find it elsewhere in the portal if you needed it? So, you know, the one thing that's tough, you know, I do think that he accepted a different role than what he came to Nebraska expecting to play. And I think that's a credit to him. I think.
And it's also one in which the fans had the hardest time reconciling when they looked at what the rumored numbers were to be in order to acquire him, right, Bruntz?
Yeah. And I mean, the return on investment piece and that kind of stuff. It's you know, the thing that's tough, I think, maybe with Fred's system, they do run a very specific defensive system. Like there is a learning curve there, and I think it maybe helps to have somebody that's, you know, been in the system for a couple of years and understands that. But you know, ultimately, you know, guys are going to chase what they're going to chase, and you know, Nebraska has to hold to a number, and they've got other holes to fill, and that's kind of where we're at now. I mean, that's just that kind of takes the emotion out of it, I guess, but that's just how it is right now. Is you've got to find, you know, a couple posts. You've got to find a point guard probably, you know, and you know, you only have a finite number of resources to do that.
So, Bruntz, blessing in disguise or potential problem in terms of identifying and fit, which I think Coach Hoiberg and this staff have a good idea of how they want to play, versus what you think's available in the portal fiscally for their basketball team. Right? You alluded they have to balance both, but knowing exactly how you want to play, do you think that could work in their favor, even trying to play in the competitive fiscal spending market?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was interesting on Monday. Fred said, you know, yeah, we kind of have we've done this a couple of different ways in the past. You know, we've had the big that can facilitate and you can run the offense through. I mean, the Rick Mass, the Derek Walker. You know, they've also had in his past, you know, some point guards that have kind of handled that role as well. Maybe not as much at Nebraska, but certainly at Iowa State, that was the case. So he says, you know, we're going to see what's out there. We're going to, you know, kind of fit the pieces to you know, that you're able to accumulate to your offense. And that's kind of, I think, the big question is, you know, do you have somebody like I think they know how they want to play, but, you know, is somebody coming in as a first-year player in Nebraska's system going to be able to do everything that Rink did in year 3? I mean, that's a tall ask. That's probably an expensive ask if you're really finding the right person. But yeah, I mean, they know what they want to do. I think they've kind of got a blueprint now, and it's just a matter of seeing how everything lines up. But I mean, from what I understand, if you're 6'10" or taller, you should be in the portal right now because everybody's writing checks. So get in there now.
Yeah, it's so cyclical how now it's size. Just 2 years ago, it was shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
We saw big teams play in big physical old teams play in the championship, and now we want big physical old teams. Like it's fascinating. But Ravi asked a question a couple of different ways the last couple of days, Bruntz, about how he thinks college basketball is moving. This is on the heels of Self going back to Kansas, kind of the blue blood status with Carolina. Is there a blueprint to a way to play outside of just spending money? His philosophy, you can stop me if it's not right. His philosophy is kind of what you talked about with Hoiberg. Know how you want to play, like get specific kinds of players, and then maybe not that you don't deviate, but it's
you don't compromise and you don't overpay for guys that don't fit that mold, right?
Yeah.
So like the thing that and it's part of that is, and we were talking about this specifically with Blue Bloods, and so like Nebraska is in sort of a different spot because we were talking a lot about like Duke and North Carolina specifically with this, but Nebraska is kind of in a different spot. But we were talking a lot about player acquisition versus player retention, right? Like going out and getting new guys every year, kind of like the Michigan model that won them a national championship this year, or the retention model where you go, hey, can we keep a group together for even 2 consecutive years so that we give ourselves a chance? And my argument was heavily in a vacuum for the player retention model, but I'm curious what you think, given Nebraska's place in the college basketball world, what is the most practical model for them to try and win on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I mean, this is not fitting into your question, but it's got to be a little bit of both. Like I think a place like Nebraska, you need to always have a pool of guys that you're bringing through the program. Like I think that's it's a different conversation for a place like Nebraska versus a Kansas or North Carolina or whatever. If you can get even if you're bringing in transfers, if you can get them for a couple of years, I mean, I think there's exceptional value in that, especially, I mean, that's the retention piece of it, which, is really important, I think. And I think the thing that was helpful too with this last group of Nebraska basketball, this last team, was you had so many holdovers and guys that have been in the program and come up through the program that it helps to, when you're having to fill holes and bring in guys that are, transfer portal acquisitions, it's a lot easier entry. You know what I mean? Like it feels a little less mercenary-ish at that point. And so I think Nebraska's got to do a little bit of both. I mean, I think ideally you'd like to have a group of 3 or 4 guys that you always say, like, this is the core that we're bringing back, that we've retained, that we've, valued and brought up in our system. And then if you have to go pay to get a big, or you have to go, fill a specific role, you go and do that. And I think that's, in a vacuum, maybe that helps you to miss a little bit less on those guys that you're bringing in as 1-year transfers or whatever. So that's a long-winded way to say, like, yeah, I think Nebraska has to focus a little bit more on retention. I think you guys were talking about, just this idea of getting old. I mean, I'm fascinated by like roster makeup in the transfer portal era, because you look at, and not even in basketball, like look at Nebraska baseball this year. This is an extremely old team.
Yep.
And they have that core group of guys like the Dylan Carries that started as freshmen, went through the program, and then you're filling in holes here and there. Football is a little bit different because the rosters are so much bigger, but I do think there's a ton of value in being old and staying old. And I think the way that you do that is by kind of having your like cohort of guys that you move through, and then you just kind of supplement here and there with guys that you get out of the portal.
So here, sorry,
go ahead.
Here's the thing that I think is really tricky about basketball versus football, right? Obviously, in both sports, you're going to have guys that perform well and have the risk of them entering the transfer portal and taking a higher NIL deal somewhere else, right? But the hard thing about basketball versus football is football, you can recruit the best players in the country, and if things go well, they have to be there for 3 years, right? Like that's just, they're not allowed to leave for the pros. Whereas the best players in college basketball, like I think this is the problem that Duke has right now. We've talked a lot about Duke this week, and whether they even are capable of changing how they operate.
Well, if it wouldn't be cool to be a one and done, Duke could still function without having to change their blueprint.
So that's what I mean, though, is they've got this problem where they recruit the best recruiting class pretty much every year, and they never have any of those guys for more than 1 year. And there are 3 teams in the history of college basketball who have ever won a championship with a true freshman leading scorer. So that is the fundamental problem with where Duke sits right now. Because yes, they get the number 1 pick, like almost like or number 2 pick or whatever, like a top 3 pick every single year, and a couple more guys in the lottery, and it has gotten them basically nothing for the level of talent they've acquired year after year after year.
Yeah. Well, and football is tough too, because I mean in basketball you at least like there's the one and done stuff, but like I think you also just get a better feel of like, is this going to work for us? Like, is this player going to, whereas in football, it's like you're bringing in, let's say, a really high ranked lineman. Like you're still probably getting a couple years there of like trying to figure out like, what is this guy? So the time frames are a little bit different, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I think if you can find a group of guys that you can hold together, and it's hard to do, and it's expensive to do. I mean, you even look at, Nebraska football having to retain the guys that they did, and they retained a lot of guys. That's to retain like a third-year player is not cheap in any sport. So it's an interesting discussion, but I mean, there's just so much, I think, value in having 22, 23-year-old guys playing on your roster that have been through it a little bit versus trying to completely reset the deck every year, no matter how talented those guys are that you're bringing in. I mean, it just feels like the less volatility there, the better. Like you just know what you're going to get.
Yeah, part of the thing that I've always thought that JUCO jobs were the hardest jobs in the country in terms of coaching, because you're basically doing what we're talking about. They've always had to reset almost their entire, almost regardless of sport, almost their entire roster every single year. And you're adding in the fact that the thing they want most in the world is to leave the place that they're at
as soon as possible.
Yes, as soon as humanly possible. And you don't have that factor with like a Duke or some of these other teams, but it seems like a lot of coaches at the high major level now have voluntarily thrown themselves into the same situation that JUCO coaches have, where they have to remake their roster every single year. And I think it's absolute insanity. I get that it's really hard to retain people, but it's not impossible. We saw it with UConn this year. We've seen it with teams in the past where you can keep guys for a couple years at least. And it really, really seems like teams have just, whether subconsciously, accidentally, whether they meant to do it or not, they have put themselves in this position where basically they've turned into JUCO coaches, but we're dealing with millions and millions of dollars instead.
Bruntz, it's just fascinating to listen as the third party here, because there's a couple of different ways. Number one, I think if Nebraska is still going to fancy themselves as kind of developmental, I think retention better be first, right? Like retention and then supplementing, generally speaking. But then I'm watching some of these other coaches, like I'll use Signetti, and I hate to start with the peak performer, but he is specific, right? It's production, maturity, production, and maturity, right? He's like, if he was a productive player. He was a productive player. Like he talks about that quite a bit, but then he always couples it with Like he's just had both years, his first 2 years, he's had old teams, right? Can I just look for, is there enough to just keep replenishing that way as opposed to, like, I think Nebraska, where you want to get old, right? I'm already thinking about 2027. I'm like, oh God, all these redshirt sophomores, like, it'd be fantastic to see these guys just be old. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm trying to plan both worlds in my head.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, if you're, to keep that group together for 3 or 4 years it's tough. I mean, it really is. Like, and it's even with basketball. I was just thinking about this as you were saying it. I mean, like a Quentin Rhymes, like, how do you develop him? Like, if you're not playing guys early, it takes kind of, I think, a special player to, kind of hang around nowadays and kind of see that process through for a couple of years and what that looks like. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting how, and do you guys think, here's a question back for you. Do you guys think that coaches are getting better at determining fit than what they were a couple of years ago?
That's the key, though. That Bruntz,
some are.
That's where I would start.
Yeah. That's
because
the
it
thing,
helps your spending.
That's the thing that Signetti is the best at.
He is numero uno with fit.
When I talk about
significantly better than Oregon.
Yeah.
Clearly, like that's the difference for me with him is he just doesn't have problems. He gets to brag about crushing a guy for wearing gold shoes and talk about another school in the same. Well, I don't know how much that happened at Michigan State, because he's telling you either fit with what we want to do or go find someplace else different to play. Like, that's what when he says that about Nick, why it's cool, or it plays.
And what he's really saying is you can come here, do the way we do things and win, or you can go back to losing and doing things the way you want to do it. That's what he's really saying.
Yeah. Well, it's the benefit of also winning, right?
Yeah.
Like you can strong arm people and do that stuff if you're winning, which is, I guess, a nice bonus there too.
Yeah, I think but the fit and the eval thing, which I think fit is a huge part of eval, that's the thing that I don't know. The coaches that seem to have figured it out, and we'll see if like Dusty May has figured it out or if that was a one-off this year. Todd Golden, you could make the same argument. He had a lot of transfers on the team last year. As he figured it out, they were still really good this year, even though they lost. Like, the guys that figure out the fit are going to be the guys that win here, whether they're going from high school programs to college or from transfer portal to college. Like, I think that's probably going to be your kind of silver bullet.
Yeah, no, it's, I wonder too. I mean, when you get these guys that are like multi-stop transfers, like guys that are on like their third school, it feels like there should be more data out there to be able to kind of parse that stuff through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just thinking.
So, Bruntz, you think Nebraska has to start with retention first
for basketball?
I guess you pick does the sport matter?
I mean, roster size matter. I mean, I think
it does. It does, Bruntz. But like, let's say I pick basketball.
I think the principles are portable.
You still want to keep Frager. You still want to keep Price.
Yeah, multi-year guy, Price. Yeah.
Football, you still want to keep your core. Like, I don't know how much the size variance matters philosophically.
No, I mean, I think, well, on the football side too, I mean, the hope would be that you've developed enough to where you're not having to, splash the pot every year to bring in high value. You know what I mean? Like,
to that point though, Bruntz, like there's not near as much talk about, well, if a game's on BTN for spring ball, they're going to pillage my guys. Remember, that was a little bit of the talk 2 years ago before we had kind of whatever we did last year to this year. Like, I think there's more confidence in the culture in terms of, hey, guys, like, this is a pretty good place to be, or maybe you aren't as worried about that. Or is that too shallow of an example?
The pillaging?
Yeah.
The guys want to leave?
That was a discussion at the podium, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not a thing anymore because it's the spring portal window's gone, but I mean that changes things. But I don't know. I mean I think, like I said earlier, I think there's just a lot of value, and if you have, like, as an example, like Justin Evans, like what if you had to go find him in the portal or somebody like him, like it just makes a lot of sense in my very small brain that you would want to keep that guy rather than having to go and find somebody. Or if you have a young core of guys that you feel like is kind of on the cusp, there's more value in keeping those guys around and playing that string out. I mean, it's because you think about it, like how much have you invested in those guys already to, grow them into players that can help you. I mean, like it makes sense to keep them and until it doesn't make sense anymore. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Nebraska is unique in that. I think there's a lot of programs that would benefit from retention. I mean, I shouldn't say this too loud. I mean, Iowa's kind of done that, and they've been okay.
Kind of mumbled through it. There's this one school really good to the east that's kind of done that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's schools like that where I don't think Nebraska is alone in that. I think there's some value in that if you can develop guys and bring them along.
Bruntz, appreciate the time as always. Good stuff. Thanks for letting us take you into some different directions here, and I hope the weather cooperates with your sinuses soon.
Yeah, it's rain today. It's gonna be like 80 early next week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't like your chances, but I do hope.
Do you pay attention to the pollen count, Bruntz? Are you kind of that guy?
I don't. I can usually tell if it's bad.
It's got an internal detector.
Yeah, it's like crap. That's all right.
All right, buddy.
Yep. See you guys.
That's Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Let's take a quick break here. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We will be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
I mean, we know we're good and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I mean, this one stings. It's going to sting for the next 12, 24 hours, but we're going to be right back at it tomorrow at practice and be ready to go to get on a plane on Thursday and go win a series. Just able to locate my pitches and trust what I had and knew the defense was going to make plays. Had a favorable win today too, so I knew didn't have to be perfect today, and I know absolutely that worked out. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, team I grew up cheering for, and obviously it's really cool to throw against them, and we're going to be back for them next time. Hope I get the ball again, but we'll see.
Honestly, being over here has been fine. There's some things facility-wise that we have to get used to, but I don't think it's bad to go through a little adversity and some changes and kind of have to be out of our comfort zone for the spring. So it's been working out really well, and I feel like we're getting a lot of work done. A lot of it's like hitting harder, serving tougher. I think those are probably our two biggest areas where we feel like we can get better from last year. And then I think just acclimating the freshmen, they've all been doing great. They've raised the level of our gym, so getting them up to speed has been a lot of fun. And it's a short spring for us when we only have 4.5 weeks of indoor, so we got to hit the ground running.
we all know that we haven't finished how we wanted to the last 3 years, so we've talked a lot about just making sure we're on the same page, and we all want to have no regrets going out of this year. And so yeah, we have such a great bond, us four, and we've been here the last 4 years together, so we're really excited to go out and compete one more year together and just hopefully get it done this year. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. But once I heard, I was really excited, and we get to go back in non-con to Brookings. So I think it's super cool that like volleyball is growing so much in South Dakota. We're a little behind Nebraska, but it's cool that we can kind of go and try and help move that along a little bit. We get sold out in like 3 minutes or something on Ticketmaster. I know a lot of my friends try to get tickets and come, so that's really cool to see, because I don't know if 5 years ago if that would have happened. So I'm glad that we can try and help move the trend a little bit in South Dakota too.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla. We just dropped earlier during the show, actually, the next Patreon episode.
I kind of liked it.
There's a little game breakdown from the spring game, couple more plays. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's $5 a month. You get weekly game breakdown. You get access to the Discord. We'll do some meetups as well. But that just dropped this morning, so DB and I will both tweet that out.
We will?
Yep.
Are you going to tell me what to do?
Yeah, Sasha's going to.
Of course.
She's got you covered. Don't worry.
You know what's funny? So I think sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to get DB's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Do they realize it doesn't work without asking the right questions?
Oh, I don't know if they realize that or not.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because I don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
Until you ask me.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Which may lead me down something
that you had no idea you were going to
completely different.
Yeah.
So it has to kind of work like that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I have gotten good at is being willing to ask questions that might feel a little stupid, but also I'm like, okay, if I don't know, other people might not know either. So I ask the question, and if I look dumb, I look dumb, but I think we get a lot of good conversations out of it.
So there's this part in me that likes to know ahead of time,
mm-hmm.
but I know full well in my head, I probably work better not knowing because there's no pre-existing knowledge of what I
want to talk about.
No, I get a handful of plays.
Yep.
So just know that you guys could do that in the Patreon too.
Yes.
Right. Like you can say, hey, I want to know about, and I'll do my best. Cause I think that's how it works best.
And there is a channel in there on the film study. So every time we release one of these, if you've got questions, you want to ask questions about
that part I'm not good with. I'll help you out.
I'll show you where it's at.
I just found the Nebraska basketball page thing yesterday.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different pages, but there's one for film study specifically for that purpose, so that people can ask questions that either I didn't think to ask or that they thought of as we were doing the episode.
Or feel free to disagree.
Yeah. If you look at it and you're like, hey,
man,
what's going on here?
That sounds kind of backwards.
Dank wanted to know, I don't know where this came from, but
my man Antony
wanted to know what were you rocking in your pregame Walkman back in '96? What music? My guess was Tupac, but
yeah.
Oh
yeah. That's pretty right. Although I went through a stretch, probably redshirt junior, sophomore year, where it was a lot of like 95 South, Goody Mob.
Okay. So like 94 into 95?
Yeah. Like, I don't know what you call that. Like some of the Dirty South, Cell Therapy. There was a weird influence of that part of the country where, Tyrone Williams, Terrell Farley, some of those guys had a little bit too much of an influence. I like Silk the Shocker. I like Master P.
Okay.
Mia X.
All right.
On cassette or CD?
Definitely a cassette guy early. I didn't get a good seat. Eric Stokes.
Okay.
Showed me a good non-skipping CD player.
That's what I was wondering. 'cause
It
if you had
was
the
like
work hours, yeah.
$45.
It took a long time to get CD players that were good at not skipping.
And he always had Stokes. I don't know. Maybe he was like super fluent family. I didn't pay much attention to that back then. But he always had the cool electronic stuff.
Yeah.
He had the cool headphones. He had the cool disc player. But LP was my roommate on the road. So, and he's a huge Pac guy. So we listened to
Pac, PAC.
Yeah, a lot of Tupac. He's a West Coast guy. What?
I thought you said pot guy at first.
No,
like, and so I was like, wait.
No.
I was like, we're talking about Pac.
He actually came in as kind of a purist.
Really?
Oh yeah,
kind of a straight edge guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was a. Dank said Southern rap had its heyday in the 90s. Yeah,
man, it was. Yeah, I was. Oh yeah.
Ooh, Cornflicted. That's a good idea. I'll put a sports betting page on there if people want to put their picks and what they're on.
Kenny Cheatham had an influence on me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a really good basketball player?
Cheetos? He's sensational.
Is that the guy that's the guy you usually talk about when you're talking about playing pickleball with those guys?
The three bet, and no disrespect to Baron Miles or Lorenzo Brinkley. Lorenzo Brinkley is in this discussion, but it was Eric Alford, Kenny Cheatham, Eric Warfield.
Alford, the tight end.
Yes.
And
from High Point.
Yep. Warfield.
And he stayed high.
Defensive back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Texarkana.
He's the one that played for the Chiefs for a long time, isn't he?
Yeah, I think 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warfield turned out to be a lot better of a pro.
Yeah, I think than people thought.
Yeah, like I think he surprised. And the thing I loved about Edub, he wore it proudly.
That he's better in the pros?
Yeah, like
or that
that people didn't think he was very tough.
Gotcha.
He was kind of a pretty boy. And he was like, hey, man, I'm just going to do me. Like he never took the thing I love about he never took himself seriously. People would try to be mean to him, talk crazy. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Is Alford's the guy that caught the 2-point conversion?
Correct.
Okay.
Great hooper.
Really?
Yeah. Our intramural team was.
I mean, that makes sense. A lot of tight ends are really good hoopers.
I mean, we were loaded. And, True played in the middle.
Yeah.
Who was a great basketball player from Pius.
Yeah.
Adam? Yes.
Yeah. That's a good group.
Oh, yeah. Two-year champs.
I remember, though, you talking about Kenny Cheatham just being a baller.
Unbelievable player.
Really?
Yes. Gifted. Super gifted.
Yeah, I don't think I got a good CD player. Like I had
Sony.
some.
It was a case, man. It was yellow. I remember.
Yeah.
And I used some of my bowl money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were expensive.
Yeah. I got the first. I think the first one I had that like consistently didn't skip was like pretty late 90s.
Was it?
Yeah, like I want to say like 98. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Stokes told me we went to was it Best Buy or Circuit City? It was on like 44th or 5th-ish in O. And I went in there and like lost my mind. Seriously. Because I wasn't, and he had the cool the Velcro zip CD case and it would unroll.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't have to, it didn't scratch when you like loaded it, like whatever the little sleeves were you put it in.
It had like a little, yeah.
Yeah, like all that stuff was it was just coming out by the month. Kind of like TVs now, where if you have a TV for a year, it's old.
Yeah. But I mean, TVs are relatively cheap now, so you're like, I'll just get a new one.
Yeah. I found one the other day. It was, I didn't end up, it was $179. I think I asked you about it. I can't remember the model.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, if you only want it for 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, well,
yeah. There's certain ones that you can get super cheap, but it's just like, if you're cool with only having it for 3 years, you're good.
Isn't that the window though?
I think for a lot of them, yeah. There's some that are like, I'll be honest, I never spend that much on a TV because I kind of subscribe to the fact that, hey, like the technology is going to be outdated in 3 to 5 years anyway. So if I have to buy a new one in 3 to 5 years, not a big deal.
My mom has one in her downstairs that I swear it moves. The picture is she's barely down there. I don't even think she can appreciate it, but that thing is pretty sweet.
You're right. By the time they got
yeah.
really good anti-skip, the MP3 was not far behind.
So I didn't go through the MP3 phase.
Really?
Nope.
Like you didn't have a MP3 player?
Never had an MP3 player.
So by the time he's right, because I still had, I think it's a little later, but like I had my first MP3 player was after my freshman year of college. So in 05
Are they the little what I've drawn?
Yeah,
a
so they're
blank.
like the little guys.
Okay.
The Nano, all that stuff.
Well, think of like
I never had that.
So think of like iPods, but there were a lot of different brands. Like I had this little one. It was about this big. My sister gave it to me. It was just this little red one. You could hold like 30 songs on there.
How much were those?
They were expensive. Early, they were expensive, which is why I didn't have one early. Like they were pretty pricey. And so, I remember as late as my freshman year, like on road trips, I had a CD player for basketball, like as in like 05, 06.
Yeah, so my buddy Brian, like I remember Scope, he put like a CD changer in his car, and that was like,
oh yeah,
we always wanted him to drive, so because you didn't have to be in the passenger seat and say, can you hand me a CD, or you didn't have to keep them on your visor,
6-disc changer or whatever.
Like you just put them in.
Yeah. Did you ever see the ones that had like the thing that you put the CDs in was in the trunk?
No.
So like the early luxury cars that had CD changers.
Oh shoot, luxury, that wouldn't.
I knew, well, no, but like you get them later after people, like I had a buddy that I think he had like a Lexus sedan like 10 years after it came out or something. And the changer was in the trunk. So you had to like go back into the trunk, load your 6 or 12 CDs up, and then you could change it from the radio dash.
But it was loaded.
But it was loaded up in the trunk, which was hilarious. It was incredible.
Haas, $120 in, because we're almost the exact same age. That's expensive then.
Oh yeah. I remember the first DVD player I bought was
RCA isn't even around anymore.
I don't think so.
That's
so.
That's funny. We're like
reminiscing about old technology.
Well, yeah, but remember the great debate. Were you around for the debates between Alpine and Kenwood?
No, but I do remember
that
both
was probably more me.
I do remember both of those brands were like big in stereos and stuff.
Blaupunk.
Yeah. So Blaupunk was I had a barber. Remember I told you he loved foreign cars? David Warner.
Yeah.
Big Blaupunk guy. And he'd drive around with his car rattling around, and I was like,
oh, we got some Alpine fans.
Everybody's rocking with Look, but here comes HP. He's like Team Kenwood. Like, they know.
I didn't know.
And they're
it was
my
like,
age, so they know. Like, there was like this Alpine. You know, you had the detachable faces. And,
yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, like it was a big Alpine versus Kenwood thing.
Yeah, I remember I remember both brands. I didn't know there was like a battle between them. The big thing when I was in high school, I don't know if it was very specific to that time period or if it was before and after, but it was
DK. That's because you're rich, man. Nobody was buying that brand.
Oh, Pioneer was big. There was a lot of Pioneer.
We used to say Oinko, and I know that's not what it is, but that's what we would call. I mean, we were HP. He's in a different clientele.
The big ones was putting in the huge subwoofers.
Oh yeah,
in the trunk.
What was the one that people put in their car? Was it crossovers or?
Yeah, there was crossovers,
and they were to help with like I think bass or something like that. It was never me. I was driving around in a Ford Escort or my mom's Nissan Sentra, but there were like these things that people put in.
Oh yeah.
So you had like your crossover, you had your sub, you had your amp.
Oh yeah, amps. Yeah, amps were big. Amps.
And then you had these subs in there that like you couldn't even hear the music, and it sounded terrible.
Dude, look at all these old heads in
just
here.
like shaking the car, and you're like,
don't you dare say that it sounded terrible. That was the best thing in high school. People in the back of the parking lot, you just find the song with the most bass, and you just shake the entire parking lot.
Yeah, Caleb knows you had the detachable face because people would steal it.
Yep.
So, you know, the funny thing is...
Oh, JMP's got the whole setup. It's 2 12-inch subs, tweeters in the air vents. Tweeters is the one I was thinking
Why
of.
does he not surprise me?
Shane says...
You know I rock with JMP.
Crossovers filtered the frequencies so that you could kind of control...
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's Team Escort. I don't know, Dan. It's fun. I was team escort.
There was a bunch of dudes.
It was like Smurf Blue too. It was terrible. I got it from we had a good deal either going with it was either going to be Lee Sapp or Stan Olsen.
Yeah.
Only two people we ever my dad ever did business with, and I got an old.
I could see your dad being a Lee Sapp guy.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense.
That was his dude.
Did you go out to Ashland to get it?
So I can't remember. It might have been right where they are now, because there was a little place where they had used cars, and he sent us a couple of his guys over to go work for Stan Olsen, which is how I ran into one of my favorite salesmen ever, a guy named Chuck Sladovnik.
Yeah,
his son pitched at Westside. Scott Sladovnik.
There you go.
Chuck used to have a gnarled chewed cigar. And every time I had to, I'm dead serious. He'd come out there with his boots on, and I was like, what are we looking at today, Benning? He was a great dude.
So how about before the detachable face when you had to pull the whole thing out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I never, listen, I was trying to get rides with people that had that stuff. I didn't. Listen, man, I was the guy where you push the knob in and hope that it came back out. You'd like push the deal.
My parents never let me get any of that stuff in my vehicle, so I'd always ride with my boys that did. My buddy Brett, he had like,
I'd be like, hey, Scope, you driving?
He had the good setup.
He said his Escort was Sooner Red. Oh man, I remember one of my first cars was an old white Probe.
Okay.
And I thought it was the coolest thing, and it was plastic through and through in that thing.
My first
I think
car
it was like $3,400, and I was like, well, it's better than my old Mazda.
My very first car when I was 16 was 1991 Pontiac Bonneville.
Oh,
White.
you drove the Bonnie?
I love that thing. It was before they got super big, so it was a little sportier. It was like the smaller ones.
Yeah.
I loved that thing.
So people would pay money now, but they would like redo it.
Yeah.
Did you drive like your vehicle? Were you kind of old and grandpa-y, or?
Dude, those Bonnevilles weren't like that. The ones that were littler, they had that thing. It was a pretty medium-sized sedan, and that thing had like.
You strike me as more like a Sunfire guy.
No. No.
I had a buddy. His name was Doug Wink. He sometimes would drive me to school. He played baseball at Northwest. He had a nice little stereo system, but he had a little itty bitty. I can't remember his car. It was perfectly square. What was that brand? They don't make them anymore, obviously. And he used to have like Beats.
Yeah.
And he only lived a couple streets over from us. He's just like a regular standard dude, but his I mean, he had some pretend brother in him.
This is the deal right there. But I had the spoiler on the back, so it looks a little more sporty.
Oh, the knockoff Mustang looking ones.
Well, I don't know about that,
You had like the Mustang LXs.
I don't know about
they
that.
weren't GTs.
The knockoff. Oh, it's a little aggressive. It's a nice car.
Remember when they started making cars with Bose systems and you didn't have to worry about
Oh,
this stuff?
yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's Bose. It's built in. Bose is custom.
Yeah, it's nice in there, man.
He's flagging us down because we have young Jacob.
That's fine.
Coming. Jacob's like, am I sitting through this?
He can do whatever he wants. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Rico, what's the problem? Shane doesn't have to leave till 10:30. We're good.
Ravi. Yeah, Shane doesn't have to leave till 10:30.
I got
But Jacob's just standing here.
Don't tell me
He's going to leave him here?
Don't tell me what
He's
to
going to
do.
be rude? Going to be a rude host?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, maybe.
The nerve.
What are you going to do?
Sorry.
All right. Well, I guess we'll stop taking a trip down memory lane. It's fine.
Yeah, Damon's standing up ready to walk out.
I always stand up.
I'll say he's been doing this since 7 o'clock.
That's true.
Maybe he's been ready to go since 7 o'clock. It's hard to tell.
You think I'm excited to go to Ames with Micah?
Yes. You don't even get to see my guy Matt Campbell anymore,
I know. It's fine.
Don't forget to pull that stereo out while you're there.
Ames is sketchy, man. You got to hit that button, get the flip down.
I'm just hoping to not get rained or hailed on. I'm trying to get back.
Man, weren't they the ones that was like, they were kind of strange when they were recruiting Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of a weird recruitment.
Oh, yeah. And then Coach Campbell had to come and fix it.
He's like, hey, sorry about that.
Yeah, we just haven't had good I mean, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna replay that. And Coach Lamanzi was mortified. He's like, we need to continue this positive relationship with this school. And I was like, look, man, like I just told the other guy this down the road. If go recruit him, don't worry about me.
All right, let's take a quick break here. We will be right back with Blue Jay Breakdown with me and Jacob Padilla. Start going over the Creighton transfer portal and everything that's going on there as we kind of put a bow on their season and look at what they're trying to acquire with new head coach Al Huss. DB will be back tomorrow. We'll be back with Hurrdat Sports Live, but stick around for a little Blue Jay Breakdown here in just a few minutes.
We all know that we haven't finished how we wanted to the last 3 years, so we've talked a lot about just making sure we're on the same page, and we all want to have no regrets going out of this year. And so yeah, we have such a great bond, us four, and we've been here the last 4 years together, so we're really excited to go out and compete one more year together and just hopefully get it done this year. I kind of heard rumblings of it, but I didn't really know if I should believe it or not. But once I heard, I was really excited, and we get to go back in non-con to Brookings. So I think it's super cool that like volleyball is growing so much in South Dakota. We're a little behind Nebraska, but it's cool that we can kind of go and try and help move that along a little bit. We get sold out in like 3 minutes or something on Ticketmaster. I know a lot of my friends tried to get tickets and couldn't, so that's really cool to see, because I don't know if 5 years ago if that would have happened. So I'm glad that we can try and help move the trend a little bit in South Dakota too.
I mean, that's what we talked about after the game. I mean, it's been a while since we've kind of had that toe-to-toe, punch for punch, the intensity, back and forth from both sides and both teams. And we've been on the right side of so many of them. I mean, it's baseball. I mean, you're not gonna win every game. I mean, we were in position to win the game, and we just didn't. And we didn't execute a pitch. And hats off to them. I mean, they got the hit. I mean, we've been getting that hit, and we didn't get it tonight. And I think probably the one thing I'll take away that the one regret is that we just didn't respond to that emotional moment in the sixth inning. We didn't respond offensively to that moment and didn't punch back. That was almost like, hey, that was the moment that we always punch through, and we didn't do it. And we just didn't finish the game off that way. That's probably my one regret, but it was a hard-fought baseball game. And, again, it's a real tough night to hit. So we knew it was going to come down to free passes, and, we didn't play clean defense tonight. And, they didn't play perfect either. They walked us and hit us a few times too, and we just didn't get the key hit, and they did.
Welcome into Blue Jay Breakdown. That's Jacob Padilla. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Doing a little transfer portal edition. JP, what's going on, man?
Not much. Just trying to follow along with all this stuff. It's been fun tracking all of it between the 3 Division I programs.
Yeah, there's maybe not much, but also kind of a lot going on. Yeah. Let's start in with Creighton right off the bat here. Obviously, let's begin with who's leaving, which it's, I mean, pretty big overhaul, it seems like, with the roster. Owen Freeman, Ty Davis, Fedor Zugic, Blake Harper, in terms of guys that played significant minutes for them this year. Did I miss anybody? I know JTT's in there as well, but didn't play much this year because of injury.
So far, 5 guys so far have announced or have actually entered.
And you've got 4 of them played significant roles at different points in the season. Any surprises there to you?
No, none at all so far. It's kind of the way the tea leaves seem to be going. For obviously Freeman everybody needed a fresh start there. Creighton had to get something, go a different direction, get a different kind of player. And he needed to find somewhere where he can just reset and get back to what he was before the injury, in a place where he can actually play and build that back up. So then beyond that, I mean, Blake Harper, we talked about that the fit wasn't quite there. It just never really clicked. And I mean, the leap from Howard to the Big East is significant. And again, like there's some stretches there, like the UConn game, the role he played in that, the 12 points in the last 8 minutes after not playing at all. He had some other big performances throughout the season where you could see the ability, the talent there. And I mean, his connection with Josh Dix and with the pink out and what Josh went through and him being there, I think is just outside of the basketball itself is another kind of thing that I'll remember about Blake Harper here. But in terms of reaching his potential and for Creighton, the way that they want to play, it just didn't seem like a great fit. I think they brought him in, talented player, to see what he can kind of turn into within their system. And it just never clicked. And that's ultimately, the fit is so important. And finding guys that fit out of the portal. And I mean, a lot of time you're operating off of what you see on tape and
very
whatever
limited
feedback
information
you can get back from. I mean, not a lot of time where you're going to be recruiting someone where you're just going to go to their former coaching staff and get a full, honest eval, pros and cons. Like it doesn't usually work that way. Obviously, there's some where with Blessing, you've got guys transferring up and like you can get some info that way. But like lateral moves or guys like that, you never quite know until they get into your system. And that's one where wasn't quite there. Fedor Zugic, that's another one where it just had obviously the stop and start nature of his tenure made things difficult, but never could quite get to the level that Creighton needed him to be.
Yeah, the consistency mostly, because he showed flashes, right?
No, like you could see all the skills that you wanted out of it, out of like that role and what he could do for the team. And to his credit, like he bought in more defensively and really,
I thought became pretty decent defender this year.
And so like that did a lot of good things. It just, for whatever reason, another one where it just didn't click in the situation where probably for what he's seeking, Creighton can't afford to like keep him on the roster. Exactly.
For what they think his role is going to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like is it suddenly going to break out and change and he's going to be the guy that was a double-digit scorer in a pro league overseas? Probably not. That's not something they can bet on at this point. So another one where makes sense to part ways. And then Ty Davis, just simply probably going somewhere where he has a chance to play.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Davis looks like a guy that's was probably just a little outside of his level in the Big East.
Yeah.
He looked okay in some of the non-conference games. Positionally, he's got decent size for a point guard. Didn't seem like this. Felt like the game was a little too fast for him, especially in conference play. Like he got sped up pretty easily. And I think if he drops down to like a mid-major level, like he's got a decent shot to be a rotational guy.
And obviously, I think the high point for him was the Big East tournament last year. DePaul, Steven Ashworth fouls out, and he steps up in that overtime and makes some huge plays. And just kind of the day-to-day teammate that he was, the recruiting efforts that he participated in to help get guys to Creighton, and just what he brought in practice on a daily basis, just the communication, the how hard he played, the motor he brought to practice every day. He certainly provides some value. Again, it's just a situation where not for what Creighton needed, he wasn't ready for that, wasn't able to kind of develop the way that he needs to. So it's another situation where it makes sense to go elsewhere and start over, especially you've got Control Harmon coming in. They're going to be targeting point guards as well at that spot. So coming back, he probably would have been third string at best. And so venture out there and kind of see what opportunities may be available. And then Josh Townley-Thomas is just unfortunate with the injury. Had a great offseason, made huge leaps. Like the coaches raved about the progress that he made.
And honestly, with the issue with Freeman, probably would have gotten to play a lot this year.
That Iowa State exhibition, he got out there and he gave some really good minutes against a really good player in Joshua Jefferson and their bigs. Got out there and scored 6 points in his first game of the season against South Dakota, and then got hurt, missed the rest of the season because by the time he got back, it wouldn't have been worth it to try to get him out there. And then I think got something else, like it got banged up a little bit again at the tail end of the season, didn't make the trip out to Vegas for the Crown. So this is kind of the stories that you look for. Creighton legacy, just hardly played in high school, went JUCO, and developed enough, like, okay, and reach out to the coaches like, hey, here's my film, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, all right, we'll take a shot, bring him in as a walk-on. And again, development from year over year to where he was at the end of his Creighton tenure is what more, I don't think you could ask anything more out of that spot. And again, contributed in practice throughout his tenure.
I think one of the really unique things with the guys we're talking about and kind of the Creighton roster in general is, we talk about fit and things like that. It seems like almost everyone was a good personality fit.
And that's like
one of the hardest things about this year.
100%. And Coach speak all the time. Oh, we're so close to whatever. But the coaches and you can
tell.
Yeah, like they maintain, like they were adamant that these guys were really connected. It just didn't translate to the court for whatever reason, which
I think there were a lot of bad basketball fits and a lot of terrific personality fits. And usually you don't have that much of a disparity.
Correct.
It was really strange because on the basketball court, frankly, it looked like a team that hated each other, like on the court only. As soon as they got off the court, you're like, oh, these guys are great.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Blake Harper thing. For what Creighton wanted to do, not a good basketball fit, right? I think they were hoping maybe he could stylistically change things up a little bit. That wasn't in the cards. But as a person, like you said, the stuff with Josh Dix and their ability to bond over tragedy that Blake had already been through and that Josh was in the process of going through, like it's so strange to have that big of a gap between personality fit and basketball fits. And I think that was one of the hardest things about this year was there was no easy answer of just like, oh, they don't like each other. The transfers came in, they didn't get the culture, they didn't get the fit or anything else. And it was like, no, it's really just the basketball, which seems simple, but it's usually not that. It's usually not just that, especially with guys that have a certain talent level.
Yeah, it made the season all the more vexing, but it probably made it easier for them to get through it. That they kind of had that, like, obviously things weren't going the way that they wanted it to.
Would have been really easy to fall apart.
100%. And they never did that.
Yeah.
They went out and won a game in the Crown. Obviously, the second game didn't go the way they wanted it to, but West Virginia went on and won the thing.
Yeah.
So like if team that no interest in playing, no like shattered, whatever, all guys already checked out.
And almost everybody played
a game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they only took 11 guys total. But yeah, so like that's the team that stuck together, which testament to their character and their connectedness and to the coaching staff and the way they kind of fostered things. It just didn't work on the court, which is why I kind of wrote a like season recap on the side. Go to the Blue Jay breakdown page on hurrdatsports.com. Just kind of looking at the season, breaking it down, what went wrong, the lessons you can take from that. And I think now more than ever, like continuity, there's so much value in that for teams. The thing about like this Creighton team, like you don't have to throw everybody out. Like it obviously when you throw them all out on the team, the way it looked this year, like, oh, it's a terrible team, start over, push everybody out. Like I think
you don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah, there are pieces here that you can build around that can connect together, can fit together if you get the right pieces to put them into their proper roles.
Yeah.
And that's what this offseason is about.
Yeah, we've seen with some of the guys that have been announced that they're staying, obviously expected Jason and Isaac Trout to stay. Like local guys, did not expect them to leave at all. One that I think kind of hoped would stay, but wasn't totally sure about was Austin Swartz. And he is, that's been announced that he's staying as well, which I think is that's a guy where you go, hey, that's somebody that you can kind of build around, certainly has a skill set, seem to fit in if you've got, especially offensively, seem to fit in with what they wanted to do. And if you bring in a guy like they did at center who can provide some rim protection, can be hidden on defense a little bit better. And I'm talking about obviously Oswin Arunse from Providence, who is kind of that defensive rebounding big prototype that you start to see.
100%. And Swartz is one where he's so talented. Like I was told at the beginning of the year, like you look at the young guys, like I'm taking out the like Jasons and the Josh Dixons, and like the guys that you want your core moving forward to be, the guys that you want to build around. The first two are Hudson and Austin. Like those are the first two names one of the a member of the coaching staff gave me, and this is back like media day, like the start of the season. So they'd seen all the offseason, seen how everything played out. It's like, this kid is really talented. And then we went out and saw that he led the team in scoring in conference play. Yeah. And second on the team in threes, 3-point percentage, shot over 40% in conference play. There's obviously there's some like he's got his ways that he likes to play and some things that maybe isn't 100% a total fit for what we've seen from the best Creighton teams, but he's talented enough that you can plug him in there and make it work. And he fits in well enough.
I also wonder how much he's more willing to be a part of a different system when he doesn't have to do the thing he had to do this year, which was create every single thing on his own anytime he was going to score, right? Like I really don't take too much stylistically because we didn't see him play really at all at Miami. Played very, very little. Yeah. And then I don't know what to take from this year stylistically at all. Like Blake Harper played exactly at Creighton as he did at Howard. That makes sense stylistically, probably time to move on, right? But a guy like Swartz, I don't know, maybe he can play in a different system and he just had to play like this.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is a factor there. And obviously from a talent level, I think you take a chance on him.
Yeah. And it's a guy who is very confident in his abilities and knows his game too. Like he's not shy about it. Like, I'm here to get buckets. And that's what he wants to do. That's what he understands. He's not shy about saying it. But again, to ultimately, and he talked like Creighton with their announcements, they put out quotes from the guys themselves. So it's kind of a joint thing there. So able to put something out nice that the guys can share with fans and everything. Just he wants to be a part of a winning team. He wants to be a part of something special. And to do that, like he's going to have to buy in and improve on that end. To your point, I think it will be easier to do that next year if they can get the pieces they want in position. And that starts with Oswin. Obviously, I think when you enter the portal, like with the coaching change, you knew like most of those Providence guys were going in. When he entered with the no contact tag, that kind of raised the eyebrows a little bit, like, oh, okay. Creighton was in his Final Four. He visited Creighton. The coaching staff, like Huss was maybe not in that until the end because he had left for High Point, but he was part, like he was there when they identified Oswin and started building that, I'm sure. So the familiarity was certainly there. And so it was like he probably already had an idea of like, hey, I didn't pick Creighton the first time. but I think that could be a great spot for me. So I went in, and that's for people that don't understand. The no contact tag is when players enter the portal. If that's on there, like it's telling coaches, hey, don't reach out to them. The players will reach out to you, essentially, because when you go in already with an idea of like, these are the schools I want to talk to through whatever.
If you've got
channel.
an agent or something like that, or if you like a guy like Arunse who, maybe he just liked a lot of the other teams that he were finalists. Like, and you're like, hey, I want to go to one of them. I'll figure it out on my own. Leave me alone.
And the start of the portal, like the visit window hasn't even started.
Yeah.
And he committed before that because he didn't need to visit Creighton. He's already visited.
He's been here.
He's seen the facilities. He's seen what it looks like. So that's a lot when you get these early transfers or the no contact is the previous relationships. And that's why it always matters. And that's why you don't recruit high school guys anymore. It's this all about the money, yada, yada, yada. A lot of people boil it down. Even like major media members boil it down to that at times. Like that.
It's really important to have existing relationships. It gives you an automatic inroad to these situations.
365 Division I teams.
Yep.
You have to differentiate yourself if you're not
Duke, North Carolina, Kansas. Like if you're not one of those guys, that's already differentiated because it's like, hey, you come here to win championships and play at one of the most famous programs. Like everybody else outside of those top like 10 programs have to figure something else out.
You have to attack it from every avenue. Like if you're not exploring high school, JUCO, overseas, and obviously the transfer portal, then you're probably missing out on a chance to get your program better.
Yeah.
So this is another example of why those relationships and why recruiting guys hard the first time. We see so many times where Creighton gets to the end with these guys and it just doesn't work out. Like, like a Jackson Richardson, like guys like that, where ultimately even Cody Peck ended up going to Dayton, like those guys talked about.
I mean, you want to go.
They lost out on those because of the relationships those guys had, but you never know what the future is going to hold.
Well, and you go all the way back. I mean, one of the most high-profile transfers that came here was Marcus Foster.
Yep.
He was down to Creighton and Kansas State, basically. Went down to Kansas State, killed it the first year, kind of went sideways the second year, and guess where he ended up? At Creighton, and was really, really successful here. So those are relationships that are super important. I think Creighton has always done a really good job of being in the mix for people that, even if they didn't end up there, is important that, they liked Creighton. And because, especially now, who's not that many guys end up at the place they started at, right?
Yeah.
So having those relationships, and there's a couple other guys that have been into the portal. Like I know, I don't know what Creighton's interest is now, but like the Rutgers freshman Zerno, that he was Creighton was a finalist for him, deep into that recruitment as well. Like you see this a lot,
others,
where the teams that were in it late for a guy are the very first ones on the call sheet when it's time to transfer. So those are super important relationships to have.
Yeah, and on Oswin, the player in particular. So he's from Nigeria. He reclassified up to go to Providence early, and I've spent 2 years there. It was a 4-star recruit. It's kind of been a mixed bag thus far in his college career. This isn't a guy like he's one of the he's got big upside, but he's not the most polished player. Like there's going to be like in order for Creighton to win at a really high level, there's going to have to be some development here.
Sure.
But that's kind of the situation where Creighton's probably going to have to be in. You're not going to go out and get the ready-made.
They're not going to get out Badunga from Kansas.
Exactly.
Like that's not, you're not paying $5 million for that guy.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a smart bet to take, like that. Hey, we can take what he's already done and polish up some of the weaknesses and turn him into the player that we always thought he could be. And now it's up to him and the coaching staff to make that happen now that he's in the fold. But great so he was 4th in the Big East in rebounding at over 8 a game this year.
Really good rebounding.
He was 3rd in total blocks, higher up there in shot block percentage. He's just really foul prone and he finishes at a high rate, but struggles to do anything else offensively.
Yeah, he's going to be like a rim run type guy. He's not putting moves on anybody.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which if you're willing to play a game,
which if you're willing to play that way, not a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're waiting on obviously the Hudson Greer and Jackson McAndrew. Creighton, assuming Creighton will put out similar announcements.
I'm expecting they'll do what they
get,
need to retain those two.
Once that gets finalized and those guys are ready to announce, like those two Swartz. That's a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Gotta find a point guard.
Yes.
Same thing we ran into last year. Gotta find a point guard.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily need
no,
like they're not gonna he's not gonna give you what Ryan Kalkbrenner did even after his second year or so. Like even the first year as a starter is still double-digit guy up there. But for a team that struggled so much in the rebounding and rim protection areas, he instantly, again, as long as he can stay on the court, he fixes those right away. And I think you're willing to invest in that because you feel like you've got enough firepower elsewhere that you don't necessarily need to play through the post this coming season. So again, the key, we'll see kind of Creighton's been really good at teaching verticality in terms in how they approach things at the rim and defensively through the years, like with multiple assistant coaches, obviously within the McDermott system. It's something that he's always stressed. And obviously Huss has been a part of that. He's hands-on, worked with the big men as an assistant at Creighton in the past. So you would think that's something that he will carry forward in terms of that approach. And he understands how they've taught that over the years. And so that's something where, hey, we get in here and work on this. And like, if it clicks for him, then he's got a chance to be really special in that area. And hopefully to do so without fouling quite as much and without biting for pump fakes as much as he has thus far in his career, because that's a lot of the foul trouble. So I'm kind of excited to see what they can do with him. Again, it's not a Badunga, not a guy that like he's coming in, he's going to be a first team all Big East, but he can fit into the mix to help this team be as good as it possibly can be by filling the holes that they needed to. That was the thing I wrote, obviously the point guard and one that fit really well, perimeter athleticism, defense to kind of fit in between the guys that you've got coming back that are talented offensively, and then rim protection center that can give you 25 plus minutes a game. Those were kind of the big keys in terms of like you out and making a splash. Obviously you need to assemble a full roster, so you got to round out, replace some of kind of the role players that you've lost. But that's kind of the blueprint that I laid out, and this is a pretty darn good first piece to fill one of those holes.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the addition of Arunse, I think that is a good fit for what Creighton needed, as you said. And I agree, probably you'd like some more athleticism on the perimeter. But I do think having a rim protecting big makes that less important, not important, but it helps you out a little bit if you don't get that. But if you have to find a point guard that's a good fit. Like that to me is the most important piece here. And I'm sure they're working on that. As you know, you see the interest, the names come out like, oh, they've been reached out to by Creighton, which there's a million of those, right? So it's hard to know which one's which. But I do think if Creighton, obviously they've already got Arunse in the fold, if they can find a point guard that's a good fit, all of a sudden you feel a lot better about what next year looks like, as you mentioned, with the returners. As you know, you've got plenty of firepower offensively, assuming the point guard gets taken care of, and then you've got something you can hang your hat on defensively. I think there's a roster that starts to make a lot of sense there.
So moving forward, to kind of round things out, obviously finalizing those things with those returners. We'll see kind of Karim Konan, Alex Dmitrievich. I'm assuming they're going to need some to kind of fill out that front court a little more. Even a guy like Josh Townley Thomas that we talked about leaving. Like you need some more size for the scout team for backing up. We just talked about Dimitri or Arunse struggles to stay on the court, so you can't just go not have a backup option.
Yeah, he's not going to play 38 minutes a game like Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, and we'll see. Jason Green obviously is back and I think that can be a valuable weapon in spurts as opposed to having to do it for 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
And
you have to do it for like 7 minutes a game. That's a different thing.
Yes. And strategically, as opposed to,
well, we don't have any other options.
Yes. So we'll see. And then, I mean, we'll see kind of what I think you've got your backup. Like if you get the point guard from the portal starting point, you've got Harmon coming in that you think can be that backup right away and get some valuable experience. So, and that kind of makes interesting kind of what they're pursuing from the point guard spot, where if you feel good about Harmon, like you can go get a guy with 1 year of experience if you think that Harmon can be ready to take the reins in year 2, or like you can go out and get just get the best player available regardless of how much eligibility left. And then I mean Harmon's got some versatility. I think he's got some
play some off guard if he needs to.
So and then kind of what we'll see kind of how Huss chooses to round out his roster. Obviously the 15-man roster limit, that's the one thing. Like the other thing losing Townley Thomas is he was basically a free roster spot because he was grandfathered in. I think he was the only one on Creighton that was the case for, because Shane Thomas had been put on scholarship before all this went into effect. We'll kind of see how they continue rounding that out. I think we got a couple of questions yesterday.
Pull
those up before we go any further. Let's see here.
As you're looking for those, I know people, you kind of go through the lists of transfer portal rankings and stuff like that. I would again look at guys probably outside of that initial top group of hey, these are the guys that are going to make the biggest dollar amounts. I will say, and he probably ends up commanding too much money, but there's a guy that I'm fascinated by. I really kind of liked the way he played when Creighton played him, but Caden Lewis from Villanova. Like, I was a really big fan of his game. He kind of has some like old school point guard tendencies. I don't know if Creighton's even in on him, but a guy in that style where like really good facilitator, has a really good sense and court sense of the game. Like, I think that type of player would be really valuable for Creighton in terms of their point guard spot. If we're being haters a little bit here, which I have a tendency to do, please stay as far away from guys like Zoom Diallo as possible.
Damon would hate to hear that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I waited to say it until he was gone. Just no interest there whatsoever on my part. Do we get a couple questions in there?
Yeah. For Jason Green, that's the question. That's one of them.
He will be back. Answer.
And although it is interesting to kind of think about what is his role going to look like.
Yeah.
And because he's started at the 3, the 4, and the 5 so far in his Creighton career, and done some good things in each of them. Although, again, the 4 seems to be his natural fit in terms of size, skill set, where he does his best work. But Jackson McAndrew, you would assume slots into that spot. Isaac Trout is still back as a useful situational role player there. So does Jason just plug back in 3? We talked about still some minutes at the 5 potentially, depending on how kind of they round out the roster. Would be wise to get him on the court for as many minutes as he deserves and as the team needs him to be out there. And then 2, again, as the change up. So that's one where it's not ideal at the 3. And that's where I'm kind of, as we talk about the point guard spot, I'm wondering how much of priority or an emphasis do they put on the ability to hold up defensively on the perimeter to take on tough assignments? Is that something that...
So that's a really interesting question.
Because especially if you're going to be playing Austin Swartz significant minutes, Josh Dix is tough to replace. He was the one guy that you're like, okay, that's an above average, really good defender last year. Obviously the team defense was not good. There was a lot of bad defenders out there around him. And as well as he played for stretches, the results weren't good overall. So, but that is a guy that you have to replace and who is going to take on these tough assignments. That's where you look at Jason Green and Jackson McAndrew playing together. Neither of those guys, do you like Jason? He does some good things defensively, and he can be part of a good,
but probably not
defense.
As a 3.
But he struggled. That's where he struggles with the foot speed to stay in front of guys on the perimeter. But that's where you're going to ultimately probably have to get the most out of him to get the guys out there that need to play. You're going to have to play a little bit that is less than ideal, which is why it's important that you get out there and you get maybe a guy that can hold up at the point of attack potentially, because that's the problem. Like you look at last year, Graves was not that.
No.
Swartz was not that. Harper was not that. Obviously, Isaac Trout struggled. Like you had a lot of times, those are a lot of guys that were out there playing together, out surrounding Dix. So you had one guy and then a bunch of guys that really struggled. So
yes,
it's important to plug in some guys that you can sprinkle in that can take on those tough defensive assignments so that you're not breaking down immediately. Yes. It's ultimately going to have to, again, with Green out there, it's going to have to be team defense oriented. You're going to have to rely on guys being in the right spots, funnel into the rim protection, all that type of stuff that we thought would have to be the case this year that they were not able to execute. They're going to have to do that much better next year. Guys are going to have to identify guys that with better defensive instincts and ability to retain information and coaching and be in the right spots. Because that just, for whatever reason, it never got to that point this year where the information sucked in and became second nature to these guys. So for the guys coming back and the guys that they're bringing in, like they're going to have to work hard on that. But it does make it that much easier if you get a guy at that spot that can hold his own. Are they willing to maybe give up in some areas to make that a priority? That's one I haven't talked to them about what they're looking for. So that's, I don't know, like, are they, where is the emphasis? Is it, we're just going to go out and get the best distributor playmaker that we can? Are we going to look for like a Stephen Ashworth type that's an elite shooter with a lot of shot making versatility that opens up the playmaking and as we've seen in the past with Marcus Zagorowski and guys like that. Playmaking would not, Ryan Nemhard would fit in that role where so it's like we've seen some different point guards over the years within Creighton. Obviously Huss, he's talked about, he's not changing things dramatically, but he does have his own spin on things and actions and stuff that he likes to run that he'll incorporate. So I'll be fascinated to see kind of once they settle on that point guard, what are the traits that they most valued.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, you talk about like an Ashworth or some of those guys that maybe weren't elite distributors, or like a Marcus Zagorowski, they almost always had a great passer on the team with them. Like Mitch Ballack, great passer. Baylor Shireman, great passer. Or they'd have multiple really good passers outside of the point guard spot.
And like Trey Alexander sharing the backcourt with Stephen Ashworth at light and low. Obviously, the senior year was a lot more ball in Ashworth's hands by necessity. But those are all things that they have to consider when they're assembling the roster.
And so I look at it and I go, okay, is there another guy on this roster or is there any guy on this roster? I go, oh, great passer. And I don't know that there is.
Yeah, I would say probably just in terms of positional, Jason Green's probably the next best passer, and that'll come with some turnovers here and there, but he is the guy that's able to initiate and run some of their actions and make the reads that he needs to.
But certainly not to the level of like a Baylor or a Mitch Ballack or anything like that. So I do think if I had to guess, I'd guess they'd probably skew towards a distributor playmaker, but you're probably not getting a guy that is both good defender at the point of attack, great distributor, and a great shooter. Right. So which one of those are you willing to give up?
Yes.
Right. Are you willing to give up the shooting because you're like, okay, I think I've got enough shooting everywhere else. If this guy can get downhill and get those guys the ball, I'll take my chances. Because I'll be honest, I think with the way the roster is constructed, with guys that, even if you bring in other guys that are good defenders, like we know Jackson McAndrews is going to play. We know Austin Schwartz is going to play. We know Jason Green is going to play to a certain extent. With those guys alone, we know Hudson Greer is going to play, assuming that him and Jackson are back, which I expect. Those guys alone, you look at and you go, okay, those guys are all going to play. None of them are what I would consider great defenders. I think they can be in the right spot, but they're not great defenders. So I almost think the non-negotiable might have to be holding up at the point of attack, and then you figure out the other two things.
And ultimately, not to speak bad on a guy, but Nick Graves didn't bring any of that.
Was not an elite shooter, wasn't an elite distributor,
that we just talked about,
and did not held up at the point of attack. So like I think you have to find a guy that's two of those things, and which one they're willing to sacrifice is going to be fascinating. And as soon as they find a point guard, I think we'll know pretty much immediately, just based on how they've played in the past, unless it's a guy that, hasn't played much and we have to go back to high school tape or whatever, which I don't know that I expect that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in, you mentioned with Harmon, like, are they going to bring in a guy with multiple years or 1 year? It wouldn't shock me for them to bring in a guy with 2 years remaining, just because of the continuity we talked about. It's not just from last year to this year. It's also going to be from this year to next year, where you probably don't want to have to reset again. Like, I think you always kind of want to have, hey, it might not be the same group of guys from year 1 to 2 to 3, but if you've got 3 or 4 guys from year 1 to 2, and then 3 to 4 guys from year 2 to 3, like that can always sort of keep you in it. And that's what we saw kind of miss for Creighton this year, is very little continuity on guys that played significant roles from the previous year.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason for the Huss coach and waiting situation, is to get him in here to try to make, how many times do we see where coaching change, just clear out, which some of that is by the new coach's choice. Some of it is like guys just don't want to stick around. He was, that guy wasn't the one that brought him there. So I think part of it was to make sure that the guys here are familiar with Huss. I mean, they retain Contrell Harmon's commitment. Like that right there,
super important.
I think why they did this, and they did what they could for Jay Kuhn as well. It's just the Iowa connection there, and it just didn't quite stick with what they were trying to do there in terms of building that relationship with Huss and maintaining, like, hey, it's still going to be Creighton that you committed to and all that. And then obviously the core guys coming back so far. That's why Mac went about this path. So we'll see kind of how the rest of this portal season plays out here. They've got some spots to fill, and I think we'll learn a lot about Huss and kind of how that he's going to operate as Creighton's coach. I mean, you can go and study his time at High Point and pull some things. Like it's fascinating. He said he brought everything like from Creighton to High Point as best that he could, and you certainly saw some things like that, but it wasn't. They didn't have all the same kind of identifying marks as well, and how much of that was he's at High Point and he had to make do with what he could get there, versus truly incorporating what he wanted to do, and how much of it was some different ideas within the overall kind of infrastructure that he carried from Creighton basketball, and that how much of that will he carry back to Creighton. I mean, you look at just kind of the profiles of his High Point teams. They were both elite offensively, like that's, and struggled defensively. Yeah. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, is there going to be more focus on defense with Huss? I would not expect that based on his history. Like, he was there for Creighton's good defensive teams as well. Like I
think it depends on what you mean by good at defense, right? I think, based on his comments, I think strategically, if he can be more disruptive, he's willing to give up some other things, which lends it, because the disruptive defense lends itself into easier offense, right? So I think it'll be interesting to see what it ends up looking like. But I do think you can take some things from what we saw at High Point.
His teams at High Point, they fouled a lot more than Creighton did, but they did not force turnovers. Yeah, and so that's kind of the like, we're going to be more disruptive. That's not necessarily something that he did at High Point successfully. But he also said it's something that, like, McDermott and he were talking about together. It's not like, this is the way that I want to play. And Creighton wasn't like, it was kind of a collaborative evolution of, he saw how this year went, and it's like, we don't have the pieces to excel in the way that we did when Ryan Kalkbrenner was here. So that's kind of, we'll see how things evolve here. And a lot of it comes down to the pieces that he's able to add and how those guys can execute, because these coaches didn't suddenly forget how to coach this year. All the things that they did in the past that they didn't do this year, it wasn't because the coaches just weren't trying to do it. It's just, they didn't have the personnel to fully implement the vision that they had.
Any other questions we need to get to before we wrap up here?
I don't think so. There's one about Karam Konan, but I don't know that. Again, I don't think that he's a big part of the future here. I don't know that he'll be back. So that's the other thing is like Huss as a coach. I mean, he went over and evaluated Konan and whatever, and saw some things this year, but it also like, can he give you what you need next year?
Yeah.
If you don't feel that strong about it. And again, with these guys that come from overseas, whether they pursue other college destinations or they head back overseas, like they've probably got some good landing spots over there. So are those guys interested in continuing the college basketball experience?
Yeah.
And you never quite know with a lot of these guys.
If they are, is it worth the investment you would need to make in them to have them continue that experience? So good stuff there, Jacob. Lots to process as we look to see what the Creighton roster will look like in 2026, 2027, but we do have a few answers already that we went over and surely more to come in the next week or so. So Jacob, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff. You can make sure you check out his work on hurrdatsports.com under the Blue Jay Breakdown tab, all sorts of articles and information that he's doing a great job of putting together to keep everybody up to date on what's going on with Creighton hoops. But that is Blue Jay Breakdown for the day. And we will talk to you again soon. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another one of these if something crazy happens in the portal. We'll make an emergency Blue Jay Breakdown.
Yeah, we can reconvene once they kind of finish this thing off and we got the full picture and see how the pieces fit together.
Absolutely. Jacob, appreciate the time. That's Blue Jay Breakdown. Make sure you join DB and myself tomorrow for Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back at 7 a.m.